What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people, and I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now, and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for continuing to rock out with me. I appreciate y'all. On Monday night, it was lit. Was it not lit? Was it not lit? It is Tuesday, October 15th, 2024, year of our Lord. How do I know that? Because I had to do payroll today. I had to do payroll. Listen, there's nothing more that I love and hate to do payroll. You know why? Because it's tedious sometimes. You got to make sure that you get certain employees, different people get paid at different times depending on what they do and what value that they add in their contract. Some people get paid once a month. Some people get paid once every 2 weeks. Some people get paid twice a month. So we had to do payroll today. We had to make sure that people got their bags. You know what I'm saying? So it's tedious, but then there's no better feeling of making sure that people can pay their bills and take care of their business and run their bag up. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and get the housekeeping out of the way. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. It's too much game. Got a new Patreon video that's dropping this week. So right after we just did Block Club, we got the new Patreon exclusive, and it is chock full of game. It is absolutely awesome. So if you're not a bag chaser, if you're not a Patreon member, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, the link to the Discord is in the description of any of the most recent videos inside of the Patreon, so get into that. Also on top of that, Tiege Hanley. Shout out to Tiege Hanley. Shout out to Tiege Hanley. Tiege is a phenomenal product. Ladies, get it for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. It's awesome. Thank you, Tiege Hanley, for continuing to hold us down. And then last but not least, get your tickets to come and kick it with me in person. I'm going to be in Atlanta on November 2nd. Those is close to selling out, so y'all got to get y'all tickets. Atlanta on November 2nd, Detroit December 14th. Discount code Anton to get at least 20% off, and then we're going to rock out. All right? What else do we got to talk about? What else we got going on? Wait, isn't every 2 weeks, twice a month? Just asking. No, it's not. Not all the time. Depending on what month it is and depending on what time of the month it is, sometimes you can get paid 3 times a month. It's a lot going on there, right? It's every 28 days. Sometimes it's 30 days in a month. Come on, y'all. Come on. Catch up. Catch up. 1st and the 15th is much different than every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks is much different than the end of the month. Catch up, y'all. Come on, y'all. We're going to use our accountant hat. All right? We're going to use our accountant hat. We're going to get it in. All right? Yeah, I think that's it. Hellcats and Trackhawks. So y'all like that new video today? Just a little something different that I wanted to switch up and wanted to add value into people's lives. So I dropped that vlog on the Anton Daniels channel. Y'all go and check that out. If you're not subscribed, if you're not rocking out with the Anton Daniels pack, then make sure you do so. Man, last night taught me a lot. And we're going to talk about it on After Hours today. But last night taught me a lot. And every time, every day, no matter how old I get, at 42 years old, I've spent a little bit of time on this earth, and female nature is something else. Women are something else. Anyways, we'll address that on After Hours, and shout out to my girl Carrie. Oh, one more thing before we get into the show, because we do have a phenomenal show lined up for you guys. One more thing before we get into the show. All of this is changing. Everything in my studio is going to be different sometime in the beginning of January of 2025. So I am allocating a lot of money. I am spending 6 figures. And it's Carrie's fault, y'all. Blame Carrie. So blame Carrie Spencer. I am spending 6 figures to completely revamp multiple different sets for multiple different shows that we got coming up in 2025. So never be afraid to invest in yourself and never be afraid to bet on yourself. But make sure that you grow strategically. We'll get into that in the Patreon. Anyways, what's up, friends and family? Again, I appreciate y'all for continuing to rock with me. I think I'm going to be on Fox News tonight. I'm going to be on Fox News, right? Fox News tonight, Dr. Phil Primetime tomorrow. All right, so make sure y'all catch me back to back. We going back to back, all right? Tonight, I think we doing Fox News tonight. I got to confirm that. Fox News tonight. And then tomorrow night, we're going to do Dr. Phil Primetime. So y'all going to get me back to back. And then we're going to do After Hours tonight, right after all of that, all right? So, yeah, man, we working. We taking care of business. I heard that Kamala Harris is supposed to be in Detroit today. Don't worry about it. We get into it. Let me acknowledge some of these super chats really quickly. ESDC in the building. Shout out to my dog, ESDC. Mike, that dude. I appreciate you, Mike, that dude. Shout out to you. Aaron Dub says, you doing the Lord's work. Colossians 3:23. Thank you, Aaron Dub. I appreciate you. Cartier Oliver is in the building, says, Jamisa really disappointed me. No, Jamisha has her own mind, and she's good for the show. Okay? All right, so I'll remind y'all tomorrow about Dr. Phil. Make sure you catch me tonight on After Hours. We're going to continue to run it up. All right? Let me read a couple of the super chats, and then we're going to get ready for the show. Shout out to Miss Crow T. Shetty. Crow T. Shetty, I miss you. I appreciate you. J-Dub says, I appreciate this community so much. Thank you for all that you do. We love each other over here at the Bag Chasers. Shout out to the Chasers. Jason 18 says, morning, family. Appreciate you, AD. You inspire us all to get our lives in order. I pray for everyone's safety and happiness. God bless. God bless. And then my girl, P. Shank in the building, says, morning, Mr. Anton Daniels. Good morning, P. Shank. I appreciate you. And I appreciate your consistency for always rocking out with me. All right. Y'all ready to go ahead and get into the show? Because we got a lot to cover today. All right. First thing first, Quick Hits. Quick Hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think that we need to bring to the front of the congregation, each individual segment on its own. But we definitely want to keep y'all in the loop of what's happening out in these streets. You know what I'm saying? So first things first, an apartment over in Memphis is beefing up security after over 100 shots is fired at them. So disrespectful. Check it out.
At 10, one Memphis security company says it will not be fazed by acts of violence. This comes after we reported earlier this week more than 100 shots being fired at security guards. Hello, I'm Stephanie Skurlock.
I'm Greg Hurst. 3 men have since been charged. WREG's Brian Didlake joins us now live after speaking with that security company. And Brian, we hear that it's already beefing up its security.
That's correct, Greg. Stephanie, we talked with Alco management, who tells me that they've increased patrols and improved their security measures since this incident. We spoke to one senior executive who tells me despite these acts of violence, they'll continue to protect the people they serve.
How y'all doing? I get your IDs on y'all.
Operations back to normal at Chickasaw Place. Members of Alco's security team checking IDs.
Pull it down for me.
According to a police report, more than 105 shell casings were recovered after a shooting Tuesday night.
Can you imagine going home and having to show your ID to go home. And don't get me wrong, I'm 100% in favor of security and beefing up police presences and all of that stuff to make it safe. But can you imagine to having to show your ID to go home? That's a prison. We're a prisoner of our own culture, and I'm not even talking about the security. They're doing their job. I'm talking about the environment that we live in, to where we've advocated against police officers, security, and our own safety so much to where we've now become prisoners in our own culture, depending on where we live at. Insane, bro.
2 security guards told police the shots came from a gold Buick before it ran off. Since then, the suspects, Matthew White, Johnny Reyes...
Oh, the usual suspects. The usual suspects. The usual suspects. Can't believe it. And we got diversity, equity, and inclusion. And hairstyles, skin color, all of that. Thomas Mayo, he got the regular, you know, the they don't call it a 1 no more. I think that's like a 4 in the barbershop. You know what I'm saying? He got the taper with the mini fro. And then we got Matthew White. Matthew, he was supposed to be Matthew with the good hair, but Matthew decided that he wanted to be in the streets. And then we got Johnny Reyes with the typical ODB style in 2024 in the Jordan shirt. Then they got the hoodies, the black tees. Yeah, this is about right. This is about right. 5'8", 5'9", 5'8". Yep. Match the description. Match the description.
And Thomas Mayo faced multiple charges, including aggravated assault.
All of our security guards are safe. One officer was grazed, but they have already returned to work, and they are, at this point, in good health.
One of Alco Management's leaders not showing her face due to the nature of their work.
Do we know how this all started, or was this a random act of violence?
At this point, it appears to have been a random act of violence. We are actively cooperating with our local law enforcement to reduce crime, particularly at high crime volume properties we serve.
Alco Management says their goal is reducing crime and making sure families are safe.
Look at the kids.
The security manager says the company now serves multiple properties, including Whitehaven's New Horizon Gardens. But back at the apartments on Red Oak Drive, the security team believes it's making a difference.
We've made over 15 arrests related to narcotics, outstanding warrants, and stolen firearms, helping to bring more stability to the community.
That ain't the hood. I don't know what it is.
And they've only been on the job for a few weeks. Alco Management also says it's still working with Memphis police to prevent crimes like the one we saw 2 days ago. As far as the 3 suspects, they have since made bond and are expected in court tomorrow.
They made bond? Wait a minute. You're telling me that these 3 guys can go and shoot up an apartment complex, graze a security officer, over 105 shots and shell casings found on the ground, and they made bond? They out of jail? Memphis, what is going on? Well, we can go ahead and cross Memphis off. Where's my iPad? I'll get it in a minute. We can cross Memphis off of the places that we're looking to make an investment in real estate. No, dog. No Memphis is on the list no more. In addition to that, the owner of a troubled Aurora apartment talks about how these gang members that the Democrats are saying that don't exist is basically threatening and assaulting them. Check it out.
It is a busy night at 7, and we start with some new information from the owners of several troubled apartment complexes in Aurora. Tonight, they are speaking out about what they say happened in the months before one of their properties made national headlines.
Channel 2's Vicente Arenas has the latest.
It had been a while since we heard from CBZ management. This new statement coming out, they say, is being made because they want to set the record straight. A bit of a warning now. Some of the images that you'll see in this report you may find disturbing. CBZ management said it had been trying to fix problems at its apartment complexes in Aurora for a couple of years. But the company says gangs began causing problems at the end of 2023. This is surveillance video, the company said, shows one of its representatives being assaulted after he refused to accept a bribe at the Whispering Pines complex.
Jesus! Wait. How come this one ain't making national news? I guess it's not popular to talk about migrants and gangs anymore because the Democrats have officially squashed that. The apartment manager is getting beat up because he don't want to take a bribe. How are they even in a position to give you a bribe in the first place? How are they in the position to give you a bribe in the first place? I'm just wondering.
We spoke to that worker today who said, I think they were trying to kill me. I don't know how I got out, but I got out.
Jesus Christ. Hey, y'all. Nothing happening in Aurora. Everything is fine. We all good. Nothing happening. We good over here. Everybody is law-abiding citizens. The Republicans is just crazy. They just fear-mongering out here in these streets. Don't worry about it. We good in Aurora, y'all. In Aurora, it's okay. We good. Nobody is being offended. Nobody is being hurt. Everybody is safe. Everybody is in a good space, okay?
He told Fox 31 in a telephone interview. The city of Aurora has already shut down one of CBZ's complexes and is threatening to take over others, like the one on Dallas Street, where security cameras showed men carrying guns. The company said migrants were not the problem. Instead, it was gangs that had taken over the complex, and management could not get help stopping them. The city told Fox 31 today some of CBZ's properties have gone into receivership. MSU assistant real estate professor Jeff.
It's not the migrants per se, it's the gangs that just so happen to be migrants. Okay. That's what's happening over there. And then last but not least, it was two people that actually had broken into the house and was posing as DTE workers for the Rochester Hills man that wound up getting killed, but only one of them got captured. Less than 2 days after this happened, they captured the second guy. Check it out.
More news tonight. A second person has been arrested in connection with the home invasion shooting death of a man in Rochester Hills whose wife was found at the scene bound with duct tape. Sean Lay has been working this story for us since it broke last Friday. So, Sean, bring us up to speed now.
We're digging into this since this tragic event happened. Everyone in Oakland County wanted to know when both of these fake DTE guys would be off the street, and they are. One captured in Plymouth today by Oakland County Sheriff's deputies. I want you to listen now to the sheriff of the parish in Louisiana. His deputies caught the first suspect, Carlos Hernandez. He has a lot more insight on what happened there.
How did your deputy spot this guy and bring him into custody?
We received a call from Louisiana State Police, and we had two deputies in the area that was able to locate the vehicle on I-49 going southbound and initiate a felony traffic stop on it.
This is Caddo Parish, Louisiana Sheriff Henry Whitehorn Sr. describing how his deputies spotted one of Michigan's most wanted, Carlos Jose Hernandez, 37 of Dearborn, crossing over from Arkansas into Louisiana Saturday afternoon. Investigators say Hernandez is this man, posing as a DTE worker at the Rochester Hills door of Hussein Murray to trick the family into entering the home for a robbery. Mr. Murray was found dead in a horrific scene in the home's basement. His wife was found duct taped upstairs in their home. But Hernandez, I've learned, was fleeing in a white Jeep Grand Cherokee with his family. He was with his wife and her child when he was captured, his wife indicating that Hernandez was intent on not surrendering and planned to turn violent before she talked him down.
And at some point, there was indication that had the family not been with him, he may have taken additional or another alternative rather than being stopped.
And that is new information we did not know about that traffic stop and apprehension in Louisiana of suspect number one, Hernandez. There'll be an extradition request and then a hearing. We'll have it covered for you, of course, and we'll see what's going to happen with suspect number two.
So both suspects have now been captured. Shout out to our police officers making sure that these guys are off the street. I will also say, and I know that a lot of people may not know this, but I got to add this as context. Dearborn, Michigan is the home, and it's just outside of Detroit. It's one of the Metro Detroit areas. Dearborn, Michigan is the home to the majority of Arab Americans in the United States of America. It is the Arab American hub of the United States of America. A lot of people may not know that, but it is just the truth. Yes, everybody is going to get this work. We do not prevent anybody from absolving themselves from being responsible for what happens out here in these streets. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your quick hits. All right. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats, and then we're going to go ahead and get started for real with the show. I am Annie Marie is in the building. Shout out to Annie Marie with the super sticker. I appreciate you, love. Mars says, woke mob turning people off more than the candidates. Darren Jackson says, dope morning show. I appreciate you, Darren Jackson. Thank you, my friend. Jazz got 2K bad last night. I'm still laughing. That was pretty funny. Mr. Joe says, pro-black's going to blame shooting on a white man. On a white man. And then my dog, Executive Suite MLE is in the building, says, remember ABC just said Aurora gang violence and apartment takeover was misinformation and that J.D. Vance should admit that Donald J. Trump was lying about it? Sad. I agree. Shout out to my girl Messy. My girl Messy is in the building, says, Anton, why did you take my wrench off of the Anton Daniels channel? I don't even be acting up. I don't take wrenches. I don't remove nothing from nobody. I have not removed anything from anybody. I don't even think that I got time to think about who to take a wrench from. Now, everybody been cool, so I'll see if I can get it back to you, if I can find you. Our next live stream that we do, I'll look for you, and then I'll make sure that you got your wrench. Why would you miss your wrench? Or why would you be missing a wrench in the first place? I don't know. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue on with the show. So let's get to the main portion of what we want to talk about right away, and I will be reading Super Chat shortly. Kamala Harris, she's back in the news. She will be in the news. As long as Kamala Harris is continuing to make her rounds and she's talking out loud, there will never, ever be a shortage of content for us to continue to go into and have a conversation about. That is a fact. But recently, in the midst of Obama making headline news over the weekend and making sure that he threw black men under the bus and held us accountable, and he was simping out for these women's, in the midst of all of that, Kamala Harris and her team said, wait a minute, we might have made a mistake in deploying all of these people. They had Bill Clinton on the campaign trail. We're going to get into him shortly. But they definitely are trying to clean up and then all of a sudden try to pitch black men on why we should vote for Kamala Harris. So it's a couple different problems with that before we get into this, because I seen a quick clip of it yesterday and I talked about it on the Anton Daniels channel. But I want to talk more extensively about all of these policies and all of these pitches that they're now having for black men. I want to talk about that, right? But there's two things inherently wrong with it. Number one, why did we all of a sudden become important because you decided that you was about to lose an election? And then number two is specifically pitching black men racist or prejudiced. Are we still playing identity politics? Because now I think that she's caught between a rock and a hard place. The expectation of black people to automatically vote for Kamala Harris has put her at a disadvantage from her Republican ops. But then at the same time, does the rest of America now feel left out? What about the rest of you that's not a 13.6% of the population? What about the other 86% of the population? Do you guys feel discriminated against because now they're making pitches to black people? Woo! Woo! Yeah, we are going to get into it, and we're going to continue the conversation on After Hours tonight. But before we do, let's go ahead and get into the actual video that she did with the Shade Room. And what she was saying about her pitch and not taking the black male vote for granted all of a sudden. We were never important before, but now all of a sudden they're not taking our vote for granted. I wonder if they've seen any of my videos. Anyways, let's get into it. I think that the first part is like advertisement of what's to come and all of that stuff, but let me see if I can get to the thick of things.
It makes me think he was campaigning for you in Pittsburgh before some students at the University of Pittsburgh, which is my alma mater, and he said some things that really ruffled some feathers in the news. He said, it makes me think you aren't just feeling the idea of having a woman as a president. You're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. We have not seen the same kind of energy and turnout in all corners of our neighborhoods and community
I agree. I see y'all
as
in
we
the
saw
chat.
when I was running. So when you hear those words, I'm sure you were briefed on the situation. A former Ohio State Senator, Nina Turner, she came out on CNN and said, why are you, putting black men up against the wall and pressuring them into something that possibly, they don't want to do if they want to vote for you or not. So my question to you is, do you think that what President Obama said was the right thing to say?
Okay, yeah, like I said, that was an advertisement. All right, so here's my thoughts before we get into this. Here's my thoughts. Why is a representation of a black man so sassy? Why is the representation of a black man not that of masculinity? Why are the people that are asking these questions and pitching these things and speaking on the men's behalf somehow, some way, have to be so sassy? I don't understand it, man. That is not a representation of who we are. I'm just going to be real with y'all. Again, I say what I mean and I mean what I say, and I say whatever it is that I want to say, because nobody controls me and nobody tells me what to do. Why is the representation of men, black men in particular, so sassy? Let's see if we can get to the thick of things, and let's see if we can get to the core of what they want to talk about.
Vice President Kamala Harris, she's announced the building.
Since
Well,
January,
not really.
I realized.
Yeah, it's been like several months.
Uh-huh.
And January 2024,
Yes.
you invited
Must be in
us
Atlanta.
for an Air Force 2 trip from LA.
Air Force 2. Can we skip past the pleasantries?
I
Do you
appreciate you.
feel
That's very
great?
kind.
It has been a whirl.
Every field separates us, and
I'm not going to mess up the words.
Did he just start
community,
singing?
Yeah.
right? And coalitions. I think that's so important.
One big theme of your campaign has been freedom.
Yes.
Freedom, right?
Yes. Yes.
Freedom, freedom, I can't lose. I'm not.
Give me a second. I'm not going to say nothing. Y'all see it for yourself. I don't have to say anything. I'm going to just try to get to the meat and potatoes of some kind of policy, all right?
It's just imperative. It's crucial right now what's going on in 2024.
I think that there is so much about what is at stake that is, frankly, the need for us to fight for the things that we hold dear, that we have always had to fight for, but must continue to fight for if they're going to be intact. And frankly, just to be very candid with you, I'm seeing across our country a full-on attempt by some to attack these hard-won freedoms and rights, right? The freedom to vote. In Georgia, for example, they passed a law making it illegal to give people food and water for standing in line to vote, which the
What? What are y'all just doing anything? Y'all just talking.
hypocrisy abounds. Whatever happened to love thy neighbor? You look at the freedom to make decisions, for a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government tell her what to do. The freedom to love who you love openly and with pride. The freedom to just be.
is under attack in so many places. And
and I'm sure that speaks right to his demographic.
Freedom to be safe from gun violence, right? And so there is so much about what's at stake in this election that really is about fighting for freedom, because the difference between me and my opponent, the former president, Donald Trump, couldn't be more different on so many of these issues. And so I'm so walk on.
You and Beyonce?
I mean, rallies, and
did you guys share a moment, you and Beyonce?
I mean, you know,
what was that conversation like?
She and I have. I'll tell you, the last time that I saw her was a couple years ago at BT event, and I mean, and her mother though I've been seeing a lot recently because Beyonce's been on tour. She's been doing her thing. Tina is so amazing.
Woman of the Year, Glamour.
Yeah. She's very special. She's very special. She's been supporting me for years. And she actually, the last time I talked to her, she was organizing hair.
You guys are on an HBCU tour.
Yes, we are.
That's amazing.
Yes,
come on, HU, you know.
You know. In fact, I was with a group of incredible, distinguished men last night in North Carolina, and we were all, because we.
So if you didn't go to Howard, is there another school?
I can't imagine a world like that.
Would you be a Spelman? Would you be a Spelman girl? Would you go to fan into a week?
All of these interviews are so much fluff that it takes so much vetting through to get to the real stuff. But then it's actually good because I can see the type of company that she keeps and the type of people that then pander, and why they saying that it's so easy for you to convict or convince black men to get on board, because all of them is just like women. They got the sentiment and the demeanor and the characteristics and the same feelings in the inside like a woman. Let's get to the thick of it.
Week where you've been talking about really encouraging black men specifically to get out and vote, and I do want to talk about the numbers. I crunched some numbers at 3 o'clock this morning. Okay. There was a poll on Saturday. It said that almost 80% of likely black voters would vote for you if the election were held today. In 2020, though, it was 90% of black voters overall. That was from the New York Times and Siena College. And then in 2016, they also had a poll, the Pew Research Center. They said 81% of black men voted for Hillary Clinton, 14% voted for Trump. In 2020, though, that number jumped 6%. So 87% of black men voted for Biden, 12% voted for Trump in 2020. So when you hear those numbers and you're seeing, in the polls, and you're seeing black men aren't as, quote, excited or fired up for you, how do you respond to that?
Well, that's not my experience.
Okay.
One, that's not my experience. 2, election day has not arrived yet.
Okay.
And and the third point that is probably the most important point is this. When journalists ask me this question, I often will say to them that let's be clear that your underlying premise is not an assumption that I'm supposed to have black men in my back pocket in terms of their vote.
That was the assumption.
And
that's
that
what Roland Martin was pitching.
I should be taking that for granted, because I don't. Black men are no different from anybody else. They expect that you have to earn their vote. And that's why I'm out here.
That ain't what Obama
doing
said.
The work that I'm doing about talking with folks, listening with folks.
That ain't what Obama said.
I'm running for president of the United States. And it is incumbent on me to earn this support. And that is why I'm talking with folks about the work that I have done in my career, whether it be in particular as vice president, what I've done to put more billions of dollars actually into community banks to increase access to capital for small business owners. Even before I was running for president, I convened a bunch of black small business owners, all who were men, and I purposely convened them. I brought them into my ceremonial office at the White House to have a meeting about what their needs are and to make sure that they have the information about what's available to them in terms of financing, capital, and access to capital, support for what they want to do in terms of building or growing their business. So that's the kind of work I will continue to do. But here's the other thing that I think is equally important is pointing out that there are two very different.
And how do we know that we were going to get into that part? Because I've already heard all of these pictures, so none of this is new to me. She always talk about small community banks that have access to capital. Blah, 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 blah. We know that that's word salad. We know that that's bullshit, and that it doesn't actually resonate or hit anything, right? I'm sorry for cursing. My bad. I forgot we on a Millionaire Morning Show and not the Anton Daniels channel or After Hours. But we all know what the next pitch is. It's not why you should vote for her, but it's why you shouldn't vote for Trump. That don't work with black men. I don't know why they can't figure that out. With most men that actually still got their balls up under them and they feel comfortable with making sure that they stay in their masculinity, that don't work for us. It's not the same. You can't pitch us the same way that y'all pitching women, and that's the thing that the Kamala Harris campaign is missing. We not enamored with Magic Johnson. We don't give a flying F about Charlamagne the God, who is the person that's going to be interviewing you today in Detroit. We don't care about Ricky Smiley. We don't even care about what the pastor think. Pastor can't tell us what to do. We tired of paying tithes and offerings and not seeing the building fund. Every year it's a building fund, but the building ain't changed every year. We don't care. We are not enamored by celebrity. We enamored by realness because we over that. I tell you right now, everybody in Detroit feel like they somebody. Everybody in Detroit is their own celebrity and their own head. And when they leave the house every day, they be like, I'm the man. I'm the man. Everybody is somebody in their own mind. And when they see certain people like celebrities, they be like, what up, champ? What up, though? And that's it. And they keep it moving. We don't be tripping off of none of that. And that's why everybody is so grounded. That's why you ain't never going to see me get out of pocket because I'm just a regular everyday dude. And when I kick it with people in real life, it's like, oh, man, you ain't on that Hollywood stuff at all. I'm not. I'm slow motion. You know why? Because you can't sell me on something that I'm not, that can't personally affect me in a positive way. And so you can parade out Magic Johnson, Ricky Smiley, Steve Harvey, and Charlamagne, or all of these proposed celebrities, but we not impressed with that. So you're going to have to sell us on something else. You're going to have to sell us on something different than what you pitching women that easily taps into our emotions. And, but Donald Trump is going to give police immunity.
Visions for our nation that are being presented to voters right now. On the one side, you've got Donald Trump, who wants to take us backward. Donald Trump, who, let's not forget,
as usual,
when he was renting his apartments and his property, refused to rent to black families. Donald Trump, who, as it relates to 5 young black men, they were actually teenagers and Latinos, the Central Park 5, he took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for their execution. They were innocent. Donald Trump, who referred to the first black president and suggested, remember the birtherism lies, that he couldn't have been born in the United States. Donald Trump, who in his Project 2025, the various things that would happen.
I cannot believe the amount of lies that y'all allow for this woman to spew in front of y'all. I cannot believe the amount of lies that you guys allow for this woman to get away with. And I don't know, it's because y'all uninformed, y'all ignorant, or y'all just trying to be a part of the go along, get along gang. That y'all allow for this woman to just say whatever it is that they want to say whenever they want to say it. I'm amazed. I'm amazed. Y'all let her spew this nonsense, Project 2025, all of this stuff. Y'all let her just run wild with anything that she says. And in the era where they're so heavy on fact checking on the Republicans, nobody calls her out on her BS and say, come on now, you know that he ain't associated with that. You know that he ain't never said that he was ever pitching Project 2025. You know that 47 times for the next 47 president of the United States of America that he said, I don't know nothing about that. I ain't got nothing to do with that, but y'all keep pitching me as it relates to it. You know that. And I'll tell you that most black people have not read Project 2025's 900 plus page pitch and proposal. But y'all let her get away with some of the dumbest stuff ever while at the same time trying to appeal to black men.
include allowing it or making it easier for companies to not give workers overtime pay. We cap the cost of prescription medication for seniors. I know the power that people have to make a difference. And I respect that power. And I am out here doing the work of earning then the vote so that we can get to the job of continuing to move forward. And for me,
like
that is
over
about
the last 2.5 years.
pushing for an opportunity economy and doing the work of investing and giving people dignity in the process.
Now, you have a friend. His name is Barack Hussein Obama. You know him?
I do know him.
The pandering is out of control. Just do the interview. Y'all don't have to be starstruck. Listen, if you've never done an interview before, they all the same. Guess what? These are people, they put their pants on one leg at a time. Just cook. Just ask the questions and be intuitive enough to be able to pivot depending on what the person is saying. Act like you've been here before. That's what my grandmother used to say to everybody when we would go to nice places and stuff like that. Hey, act like you've been here before. Stop being extra. Just chill. Just be normal. If you don't know, ask. And if you know, then act like you know, and don't make a scene about it, and don't try to be too much for what you are. You're not friends with Barack. You don't kick it with him. That's not your homeboy. Yeah, we got a friend, Barack Hussein. You heard of him. You don't need to do all of that. Just act like you've been here before, ask the questions, and let us get to the information. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
He recently in Pittsburgh.
President,
let's get it right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Obama.
President. President Barack Obama. He was campaigning for you in Pittsburgh before some students at the University of Pittsburgh, which is my alma mater. And he said some things that really ruffled some feathers in the news. He said, "It makes me think you aren't just feeling the idea of having a woman as a president. You're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that.
Super chat
we have
shortly,
not
y'all.
seen the same kind of energy and turnout in all corners of our neighborhoods and community as we saw when I was running." So when you hear those words, I'm sure you were briefed on the situation. A former Ohio State Senator, Nina Turner, she came out on CNN and said, "Why are you putting black men up against the wall and pressuring them into something that possibly, they don't want to do if they want to vote for you or not?" So my question to you is, do you think that what President Obama said was the right thing to say?
Let me tell you, I am very proud to have the support of President Obama, and that he is out traveling to talk with voters about what is at stake in this election. I'm very proud to have his support. What is also important is, one, to understand, like as I said, I intend to earn the vote of everyone, including black men. Two, pay attention to everything that President Obama talked about, because he also talked about, at length, the danger of Donald Trump.
Y'all know, I know y'all know my mannerisms. You know that when I take my glasses off, I get a little bit frustrated sometimes. And so bear with me. Roll with me. It's a little bit frustrating. They do the same thing that these women do, the same thing that these people do on the streets. They get it from her. They never answer the question. They always go into what we think we don't like about Donald Trump. We like Trump, okay? Ain't nothing you can say. Now, help us to understand why we should like you more. The question is, do you think that he was right about what he said to black men and pitching them and helping them to try to understand why they should vote for you and saying that it was misogynistic? And they didn't. You said, I appreciate him for being on the campaign trail, but guess what he said about Trump? Jesus Christ.
The danger of Donald Trump in terms of somebody who has said that they would weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies. Somebody who has referred to black immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, legal immigrants, as though they would eat their pets, constantly perpetuating
Democrats have
tropes.
resorted to fear-mongering. They don't have any other thing
he
to stand
who,
on.
Donald Trump,
Nothing.
who said in Charlottesville,
Zero.
there are good people on each side. So I think it's really
Zero.
important to
Nothing.
focus on the stakes of this election And there are two choices. Two choices. And
the question,
I ask everyone to look at the background, look at the work, look at the words, to have a sense of how you then choose to use the power of your vote on Election Day. But there is a very big difference between Donald Trump and how I will be president
the word
of the
salad and the deflection is strong with this one.
United States. And I cannot impress upon people enough that this is somebody, Donald Trump, who intends to take us backward. Look, this man won't even debate me a second time.
Did we all just lose sight of what the original question was, or are we just... Okay, I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't me. Because you know the chat is my co-host for this.
He won't even debate me a second time. He didn't do the 60 Minutes interview, which I believe every presidential candidate for President of the United States has done. He will not take up the important responsibility that every presidential candidate has done of showing their medical records, okay?
Which you just did?
Which I have done. Of course I've done it. I have done that. I have challenged him to another debate. I have given up my medical records. I did the 60 Minutes interview. And one has to ask, what is Donald Trump trying to hide? What is his staff?
And you know what's so interesting about the 60 Minutes interview? People are criticizing 60 Minutes for editing the interview in your favor as bad as you did. And you looked horrible as a result of it.
And his team trying to keep from you. And it may be the fact that, like the people who worked closest with him, his chief of staff in the White House, his national security advisor, his secretary, be president.
I want to get to the black man part.
One more thing I want to ask you before you go, and I think it's the fun part. I want to ask you about your plan for black men.
Yes.
It's something huge
Yes.
that you have just released this
Yes.
week. We're talking about 1 million loans that are fully forgivable up to $20,000
Right.
to black entrepreneurs, men and women,
Yes.
correct? Expanding.
So that's not for black men, number one, but let's continue. And I wonder how you got to qualify for this. Is this a form of reparations? How do you qualify? And do other Americans, hey y'all, the other 86% of y'all, 86.3% of y'all that don't get to participate in this proposal that we don't even know if she can actually implement or not. Do y'all feel left out? And they loans that they say is fully forgivable up to $20,000. I know Bandman Kevo is salivating right now. I know it's a lot of people that's looking to take advantage of this one. They didn't even catch all of the people that was guilty of the PPP loans. They didn't even catch everybody that was with the PPP loans yet. Nothing better than getting black people back to the plantation with free watermelon. Watermelon, watermelon. Thank God we got some watermelon. Except for this watermelon ain't got no seeds in it. Watermelon. Come get your watermelon. Ain't nothing like getting the people back to the plantation with some good old watermelon. Free stuff. Did y'all see how they ran off of that hair when that tenant got evicted from that location? Watermelon, watermelon.
Access to bank accounts, expanding the child tax credit. Many
child tax credit ain't got nothing to do with black people.
Things that you're doing. Housing.
Don't worry about it. We're going to go over exactly what her newly released plan is right after this, guys.
Lowering rent, making it affordable to buy a house for first-time home buyers.
Correct.
Talk to me about this plan, just in summary, and how this will impact not only black men, but all black people.
Sure. So look, I grew up in the middle class.
Oh my God! Not this pitch again. Not the middle class story, Kamala. Not the middle class. First of all, who wrote this, and do you even know what it is yet, to where you can effectively communicate it without a teleprompter? Come on, man. Come on, dog. Not the middle class story again. Not about you and your sister raised by your mother, grew up in the middle class, and she saved for a home to which y'all bought when y'all was a teenager, and your mother had a friend that owned a daycare, and they was a business owner, and so you love business owners that take care of their lawn, and you really understand it because you grew up in the middle. Not this one again. Not this speech. Come on, Cam. Let me rewind it.
So look, I grew up in the middle class. My mother worked hard. She saved up, and by the time I was a teenager, she was able to buy our first home. I will never forget where I came from. Okay, by the way, my opponent, Donald Trump, was handed $400 million basically on a silver platter and filed for bankruptcy 6 times. So just keep that in mind about who's coming from where. I know the ambitions, the aspirations, the incredible work ethic that exists in our community. I know the dreams that exist,
and
but
the aspirations
not everyone
of what can be. Is that what it is?
Has started out on the same base in terms of being able to realize their goals and their dreams. So my plan is to build what I call an
opportunity economy, right? Opportunity economy, where we give business owners $50,000 tax rebates because $5,000. What can you do with $5,000 when you're starting a business? To possibly give $6,000 to first-time child owners and $25,000 first-time home buyers. So my plan is an opportunity economy. Come on, man. Come on.
Goals and their dreams. So my plan is to build what I call an opportunity economy.
Yeah.
Which means giving people an opportunity to actually achieve those ambitions, those goals, and those dreams. So, for example, housing is too expensive.
$25,000.
The American dream is something that previous generations could kind of...
It builds intergenerational wealth, right? That's our new term. Intergenerational wealth. Not just generational wealth. We're going to throw a little inner on there. Intergenerational wealth.
But no more. Yeah. So... one part of the problem is that we have a supply issue.
3 million new homes
housing
within your first term, because we want to be able to, because 1.8 million homes is not available for sale today. Got it.
Supply. My plan includes working with developers to do and home builders to create incentives for them to build 3 million new homes by the end of my first term.
Yep.
The second part, which is equally important, if not more, is to give people first-time home buyers a $25,000 down payment assistance.
Okay.
Because what you and I know is a lot of folks...
Hey, this is the pitch to black men again.
Want to be a homeowner, but they don't come from money. They don't come from some families that can necessarily give them or pass on a home or give them the equity out of their home to help them with the down payment. $25,000 down payment assistance just helps people get their foot in the door.
Because they can do the rest, because they're hard workers. They can do the rest. They just need to get their foot in the door.
Up to cover a mortgage, $6,000. Child tax credit. I'm expanding the child tax credit to $6,000 for young families, so that
you can buy strollers, diapers, baby formula, child car seats, right?
First year of their child's life, they have the resources they need to buy a crib, a car seat, clothes, knowing that all parents have a natural desire to parent their children well.
And maybe we should also talk about the $50,000 tax credit rebate instead of the $5,000, because nobody can start a business for $5,000.
Not all parents have the resources to be able to do that. Opportunity. Small businesses.
Yep.
Our second mother, who helped raise...
The daycare owner? Whoa, we haven't heard this one before.
Was a small business owner.
Okay.
I know who our small business owners are. They, for our communities, they are part of the cultural, economic, civic fabric of our community. They hold the strength of hiring locally, mentoring, all that. So I'm going to change so that the tax deduction for a startup small business, change it from what it is, it's $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000.
Nobody can start a business. Because nobody can start a business with $5,000, so we need to increase that to $50,000 tax credit.
$1,000. And included in that, knowing that a lot of startup businesses then have overhead around, for example, what they need to do to buy equipment. For those who are startup and don't have the connections historically, a $20,000 forgivable loan.
Oh, that's the one for black men, up to $20,000 forgivable.
For them to be able, for example, to pay to set up a really good website.
Oh, gosh. Jesus. Lord have mercy. Oh, man. Oh, man.
So that their business it might intersect with PPP loans and how, a mess. Some people were involved with that, the PPP loans and fraud and all of that.
Fraud. Listen, I spent a career
prosecuting transnational crimes from gangs and migrants and things that are coming over the border.
Prosecuting people for fraud. So we will take care of the abuses, but that's not a reason to not give people an opportunity to thrive. I think there is a real misconception that people just, and only their highest aspiration is to have a job. That's not where I come from in terms of how I think of it.
All you've ever had is a job that's been paid for by taxpayers. You've never opened up a business in your life. All right, listen. She also has some other proposals, and I'm not sure if they only apply to black men, but if the one drop rule applies, we'll go over that. Don't worry, we got time today. We sorted out our time to make sure we go over Kamala Harris's new pitch to black men, in addition to her opportunity economy. I know they hate me. I know they hate me, but guess what? All roads in Michigan lead through me. We don't care about Charlamagne the God. All roads lead through Anton from AntonDaniels.com. And if I got anything to do with it, guess what? We going red. Red team going in, baby. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to continue over with the show, because we got to get to the opportunity economy part, right? Just a few of them. Yoshi said this is the preferred black male type for Dems. Yep, a little sassy, a little ashy, no cashy. This man is sweeter than Southern. Oh, crazy. This is preposterous. What the F, says GR's Infantry. Freethinker 513 says, saying you're just trying to get to the meat and potatoes while breaking down Mr. Sassy Pants interviews. What? That's because y'all on that Dame Dash talk. Y'all on that Dame Dash time. High Tolerance says, black women have co-signed the sassiness and emasculation of men. These mother effers have been their BFFs and confidence. This ninja is probably rocking waist beads or... Y'all, wow. Complete misrepresentation of black men. Trade says, all these so-called freedoms they're referring to is only for women and the rainbow community. Spread Wealth is in the building, said, this ain't it, boss. Please make it stop, Anton. We got to look at it. We got to look at all things. Courtney, what's up, pretty Courtney? Says, Anton, we are in the twilight zone. I know many people falling for this BS, and it's embarrassing. It ain't embarrassing. It's funny. Don Drell says, this stuff is starting to go over my head. What the F? Mr. Guap says, I find it funny that Kamala is prioritizing black men at the end of her campaign, which means we are never a priority. Hashtag Trump 2024. No, but you can go and get you some new PPP loans, though. Tyrone says, 80, let's be real. Black male representation is such with Democrats because they only want to rep the zesties, closet zesties, and weak boomers. God ain't in them. Trump 2024. Agreed. Let me hit you with that one. Nay, what up, Nay says, oh, she got her Trump shirt on too. Black women aren't with y'all. Either Kamala. Shout out to Nay. We rocking with you. Anthony Wright Network says, why they use a spicy brother to do the interview to represent for the black man? I'm just saying. Winnovation goes on to say, us black people need to stand up and vote for Kamala. We can't be naive and remember where we came from. We need to remember the Emancipation Proclamation, Thurgood Marshall, Rosa Parks. What are we talking about here? Listen, man, we ain't going back to that nonsense. Oh, wade in the water. Wade in the water. I can't wait for my wade to come. We not doing that. We not doing that. Oh, give us free. Give us free. We boss, we's don't have the same opportunities as those that came before us. So now we's got leans into our blackness to make sure that we's gets our rights because we's ain't sitting in the back of the bus no more. I's not going to the back of the bus no more. No. What year are y'all living in? What can't you do? I'm just curious. What can't you do? What freedom are you missing? What liberty do you don't have exposure to? What can't you do in the United States of America today? Because I know that y'all want to, we still shackled. Who is making you pick cotton is all I want to know. Give me a second. I just got a question for black people before we get into the next part of the show. Who's making you pick cottons? We's can't goes to that's bathroom. Who told you that you can't eat whites only pie? Who told you that whites only pie was only available? Where y'all at? Who breeding y'all to pick cotton? Who making y'all fight each other? Who are y'all fighting each other now and y'all not getting paid for it? And then they giving y'all some women to go back and to soothes your wounds. Are y'all on Candyland still? And if y'all can't fight, then they gonna six the dogs on them. Emancipation Proclamation, I'm only 2/3 of a man. What freedoms are you missing that obviously bypassed me and allowed for me to become a millionaire in real time before my 40th birthday? I retired at 37 years old. At 37, I retired. I no longer ever had to work again in my life. My daughter's college fund was fully funded, and I had the ability to be able to live in a lap of luxury for the rest of my life at 37 years old. I am online right now, getting to the bag. Where can I fly? I fly first class all over the state. And sometimes, occasionally, depending on if I'm feeling real frisky, I might go private. My daughter drives a $100,000 truck. I just went and bought a brand new car yesterday, and I hadn't even seen it yet, and they delivered it to my place, and I didn't see it until I got home, and I still ain't driven it yet. I still ain't drove it yet. My daughter drove it back and forth to the gas station. I have a fleet of luxury vehicles. My watch right here, this little old Omega right here, cost me $10,000. I have employees that work for me. I go in and they call me Mr. Daniels. I can have any white girl that I want, whenever I want, and I'm not going to get in trouble for it. I choose to be faithful. I can go and get any white girl that I want, and nobody can do anything about it. I drive past white people, pose whites people all the time, and they continue to tell me about my privilege. I might even get hired before you because they got to fill quotas with diversity, equity, and inclusion. We just got rid of affirmative action the other day. Just a couple years ago, we just got rid of affirmative action. Y'all still running into the victim Olympics. What liberty? What thing can't you do? What school can't you go to? You got special universities that's dedicated to you when they continue to fund it and put money into it, even though they're insolvent. Y'all was stealing from Deion Sanders. That's why he had to leave and go over to Colorado. Y'all couldn't even keep it. Y'all had whole cities Y'all ran white people out of whole cities. And then it ran it into bankruptcy. And y'all ran it like the mob. And then y'all still running in the Victim Olympics. Y'all just had a whole movement, Black Lives Matters, that was propped up in order to continue to get y'all to divest from your own communities and tear up your own cities and streets and paint red, green, and black on the streets. And you ain't never been to Africa in your entire life. I seen people in the 80s and the 90s wearing Africa chains that was made by white companies. The very people that I see on TikTok on a regular basis complaining about the white man be having they Amazon vest on and they be in there driving a halo right after that. Doop, 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 doop. White man still employing you even though you talking negative about him. Even though you talking negative about him, the white man still employing you. Give us free. Where is our reparations? Meanwhile, the migrants is walking in with size 12 shoes on. Oh, y'all want that job? I'll get that job. I'll take that job. We can take over whole apartment buildings. And we can bring in guns. And we can take their women. Busting them down. What liberty, what freedom don't you have? And then they gave y'all the freedom to do whatever it is that you wanted because they worked together. The Freedom Riders was getting blew up on the buses. And you know what you did? I hate Martin Luther King. He the one that said that he might have led his people into the burning bush. We should have kept ourselves separate. Well, the whole idea of freedom of choice is that you can choose to do whatever it is that you want to do. Y'all the only group of people that can say, I only cater to my people and get away with it. If that's not privilege, I don't know what is. Because white people can't even do it. If white people only said, listen, these is whites only pies, you would have them on the news and y'all would be on TikTok trying to cancel them immediately. But y'all the only people that can say this business is owned by black people and we only serve and cater to the black community and get away with it. What universe are y'all living in to where y'all are telling me that y'all don't have the type of privilege that y'all have today to be able to get away with and say some of the craziest things about every other group and then don't have them say it back to you? You can call each other the NIGGA with the hard ER or whatever it is that you want to at any point. At any point, you can say some of the wildest things. I see women calling their own girlfriends, their own homegirls, BITCHs, on a regular basis, but let somebody else call you out of your name. Oh, it's the intent. It's the intent. You can use the N-word whenever you want to look at it as a term of endearment to your own people and your own culture. And if somebody else says it and even remote, but is you black? Is you black? No, because I took that as a slight. I took it as a slur. The fundamentals is just all messed up. Somehow, some way, these people who have never experienced any form of racism in their entire life, except from the bias and the prejudice from people that look like you, you're more likely to get robbed by a person that looks like you. And please miss me with the whole proximity argument. You're more likely to get robbed by a person that looks like you because 13.6% of the population is committing the majority of the crimes. But it's systematic. They reprogramming it. It's in the music. Who is this boogeyman behind the scenes that's pulling all of the strings? Who is the Wizard of Oz down there that's making you go and rob your own homeboy? That's making you go and take out these PPP loans for fraud? That's making you go out here and finesse and steal and kill and destroy and rob people and do some of the worst things to the people in your community and then uplift the ones that do the worst things and they get so enamored with stuff that's not even relative to you while showing up not being informed at the polls just to vote based off of identity politics. They really did a Jedi mind trick on the black community. They did a Jedi mind trick on the black community. The only people hurting black people is black people. And the fact that y'all even call yourselves black people shows me how ignorant you are to the things that's been promoted to you that ultimately you continue to promote to everybody else out of ignorance. And then y'all sit here and y'all call us Uncle Toms, you call us coons, you call us all of these different things, but we're the very ones that employ you. You don't even know who Uncle Tom is. You don't even know what his relevance is in the story. You don't even know your own history. You've never read a book before, but you use these talking points from the internet in order to substantiate your argument. The very people that sitting here asking me if I'm FBA don't even realize that that is a term that has been made up to identify you and separate you again. And so when Obama then comes through and he says, oh, the brothers, all he's doing is creating more divisive environments that ultimately you thrive off of. Because you know what? You are a pookie and you are desperate for something that is negative. And if anybody ever presents something to you that's positive, you turn it off immediately. So now we got to put the medicine in the side of the candy just so you can take care of your family. Ain't nothing you ever did actually produced fruit. And all y'all do is look for a shortcut to do something that you ain't supposed to do so you can impress people that don't care nothing about you, and you still voting based off of identity politics, talking about this the 1820s. Ain't nobody thinking about you. I wouldn't enslave you if I could because you too lazy. I can't pay you to do your job right now, so why would I want to enslave you? You lazy. I can't even pay you to do what you're supposed to do, and you show up high to every job and every interview, hoping that they don't piss test you. Asking your homeboy, can I hold some piss real close to me and hoping that it passed the warm test so that they can certify it to actually be something that you pissed out of. You fear going and getting a piss test at your own job, and you worried about somebody asking you to go and pick some cotton for free? We know you ain't picking nothing for free. We know. The only reason you mad at the migrants is because they getting it for free. That's my money. My ancestors died for it. So you can be parking a Cadillac Escalade in the hood on the lawn. Nobody trying to enslave you. Nobody wants your little dusty self. Get on out of here. Don't nobody want you. Ain't nobody checking for you. I promise you. When they go down a list of all of the people that they fearful of, you not on it. Hey, man, y'all know Quintavious over there? We ain't worried about Quintavious. We're going to have that guy making license plates in prison because he's going to rob one of his own. Sell crack to one of his homeboys, to his auntie. Heard the rest of the crack at my auntie house. Nobody thinking about you. Ain't nobody checking for you with your beady bead head. I'm going back to Africa. I'm getting me some wicks in my head. You ain't never been to Africa. You don't know nothing about Africa. If you went there, what they would look at you is, man, who is this? Who is this booty scratcher? Who is this booty scratcher coming over here? They don't even like you. They look at you as meat, as food. You ain't never been to Africa. I want to go in the bush with Dr. Umar Johnson and make sure I can hide out in the trees with the monkeys and the giraffes. You more likely to get enslaved over there than you are here in the United States of America. Go on over there if you want to. Barbecue is waiting for you in Haiti. Go and land in Haiti. They running over here, you running over there. Go on over there and see what happens. Go on over there. My ancestors. You don't even know who your real daddy is. Talking about my ancestors. Who your daddy? Who that boy daddy over there? His mama lied to him. His grandma lied to his grandfather. His mama lied to his daddy. He don't even know who his real father is, and he talking about his ancestors. You couldn't trace your ancestry if you wanted to. You can't go down the line. I could find out. No, that was your stepdaddy. Your mama was a single baby mama. Your grandma was a single grandmother, and she was busting down on a milkman. You can't even trace your own ancestry. You can't even get your own household in order. Your kids don't even listen to you. It's the white man's fault. Keep following all of these women and not even taking your real purpose in life. You are ashamed to call you a man. Forget black. That's just a construct in order to make sure that you stay divisive so that they can profit off of you continuing to hate your own brother and your sister on a regular basis. We gonna follow Umar Johnson to build a school. Your kid is 40 years old now. The same kids I was watching CJ So Cool when he first came out is what you thought you was going to send your kids to Umar Johnson School. Peace and Pan-African, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and Pan-Africanism. It's the white man. He ain't never married y'all, made y'all single baby mamas, and the Lord said you will know them by their fruit, and you still gonna keep on following them. It's our black leaders. Malcolm X said. Have you ever read Malcolm X's books? Have you? Have you read the one that his daughter wrote? I have. That's why I'm informed. So stupid. So tired of these people running in the victim Olympics. It's always somebody else's fault. It's their fault that they made you smoke weed. It's their fault that they made you rob somebody. It's their fault. Let me continue on with the show. I'm sorry. I went a little bit off script, off code. Sometimes I say what I really feel and I mean what I say, but I'm sorry. Stop running in the victim Olympics. Idris Singleton says Trump got the Obama birther from Hillary Clinton. Big Al, my dog says, all this whole do is lie. Trump 2024, let's roll, y'all. Good job this morning, Coach AD. I'm going to get to it. We're going to get there. New Movement Inc. says I had to subscribe to YouTube Premium because I'm fed up with the advertisements of, about, or from her. $20 well spent. Shout out to you. D. Rusher says, totally agree, Trump 2024. Shout out to my girl, D. Rush. Tech Coach Ralph says, why is President Barack Obama, former President Barack Obama, why is it President Barack Obama, but always former President Donald Trump? Why can't we keep the same energy across from all presidents? You know why, because they want to disrespect them. Tax Smith says, I'm old enough to remember when y'all said Zesties aren't harming anyone. Yup, they did, but we should normalize it. Now they represent you, 100%. New Normal Podcast says, interviews like this seem to put gayness before blackness. Is it really that many gay black men in our community? Yep. DJ Overlet says Trump gave her 3 dates for a debate and she only accepted one. Now she wants another debate because she's failing miserably. I can't wait till she loses and we don't have to hear her voice anymore. I don't think she's going away. I think she's going to try to run in 2028. Hardhead says on vacation to Vegas and still tuning in. Shout out to my people over there in Vegas and on the West Coast. Spin Fire says, well, she loves them. They're interviewing her. Love is love. She marched with them and their family. That's true. Delta Fox in the building says, black won't qualify or apply for that. Habibi Francisco Ramesh, Mr. Link, and Tunde will take advantage of those loans. David Williams says, so now they see that we're moving, that we're more than the D. No, they don't. No, they don't. N8 says, her loans are for black men and others. It's LBJ all over again. Boo Man says, shout out to my dog Boo Man, says, 3 stages of Anton frustration. Stare into the camera. Take the glasses off. And then number 3, definitely on 5, gives up and exits the room. Yeah, y'all got me. I'm going to switch it up on y'all next time. If she says that one more time, shout out to my dog Spitting Fire. Dean Murray says, please make watermelon a ringtone for the soundbite. Young Haiti goes in and say, I'm a legal migrant. Been here for voting for 16 years. This lady lost me. Her interview has no substance. Keep bringing all of these sassy D-leg men to interview her. Doesn't make any sense. And maybe I'm slow. No, you're not. You ain't slow. You ain't slow. Minnesota County Unsolved Crime Channel says she comes to happy hour drunk already. I believe that. Pookie says, if Kamala gives me a refundable loan to get a new truck and start driving migrants back across the Kings, then I'll vote for her. My girl Molly says Kamala's policies sound good to the financially illiterate. Shout out to my girl Molly. David in the building. Shout out to my dog David says, opportunity economy is such BS. Everybody don't want to start a business, ready to buy a home, nor have kids. What about the common person? Trump 2024. DJ Kane in the building says a $25,000 tax credit. If I had a lot of homes for sale, I would increase my prices by at least $40,000. And that's exactly what's going to happen. 876 Vlog says, dog, who paying for this? It pays for itself, remember? Spitfire says, Anton, she doing this so she can have a website. So you can have a website. Bitcoin Brown says, did she just say $20,000 for a website, AD? Guess it's time for me to get a bag. That's a fact. Shout out to Bitcoin Brown, my dog. Tax Smith says, she thinks we don't know that to pay for all of this, we'll have to pay extra taxes through inflation. And directly, Deuce Ex Machito says, if you check our website, it's Black Entrepreneurs and Others. You know what that means. Of course I know what it means, but we're going to dig into it. Presidential says she just pitched the P to us, but the stakes are higher now. Al, shout out to Al, says she declined the AI Smith charity dinner, a presidential tradition, disingenuous, talking about 60 Minutes interview. Michael X Fit says, AD, what do you think about the PBD podcast? I think that they're doing great things over there. Tiff says she needs to do a drug and alcohol test after medical records. King Stannis is in the building. Shout out to King, says I'm going to be behind Trump on stage today. Shout out to you. DJ Kane says ninjas pray for success all night, but then wake up and turn on the PS5. Talk to him. Deshaun Rose says, yo, can we get these likes up? This is terrible. Asthma Roland says, you can't take over an apartment complex like the Migrants. Oh, I'm sorry, I mean gangs. Chris Mayberry says, how they drive it, AD? I'm not going to redo it again so y'all can be laughing. High Tolerance says, Van Glorious. This is protected by the red, the black, and the green with the key to the crossroads. Sissy. So you ain't know I knew about that. Shout out to X-Clan out here in the streets. Enforcer 2K9 says the only thing wrong with racism and bigotry is that it was done to black people instead of by black people. It's different when black folks get to do it. Let me read a few more super chats and then we're going to move over to the next part of the show. Countdown to Serenity says 1 million men or women gather $100 a month equal $100 million a month to buy land. The first year, $1.2 billion, and each year following start to build. You can forget it. Elevate to the Unknown says, you cooking with fish grease today? Let's catch up soon. Going to email you. Shout out to my dog, Elevate. Appreciate you. Winnovation says, I was trolling, but I agree. I don't know why people lean to justify voting for Kamala. The fact. I like fried rice. G says, 80, I really think you should write a book about your upbringing and hustle all the way to your current success. It will be inspirational. Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I got AI to help me now. Trump says you don't have to vote no more. Manifest Love says, deliverance service going on. Keep cooking. Eric says, shout out to me. I appreciate you, Eric. Anthony Boom says, even if Kamala loses, she will cry, whine, and complain like Hillary did and still does. Russian collusion was a hoax. And then my dog, Marie 2020 in the building says, what up, though? Shout out to y'all. Shout out to everybody that supports the platform. Also want to make sure that I didn't forget any cash apps. Sorry, getting a lot of text messages. People want to get in touch with the Time Dog. All right, we in there. We good. All right, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. So, now, Pastor pulled up on Fox News to speak about Kamala Harris and her plan to entice black men and others, and the fact that that Charlamagne is going to be interviewing her here in Detroit today. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's spend no more than 10 minutes on this so we can get to the next subject.
So with 3 weeks to the election, Kamala Harris is trying to shore up support among black male voters with new initiatives, including loans for black.
So here's the key. This is not for black men. This is something that has black men's names attached to it. And then they're trying to pacify you in order to say, okay, listen, you're going to get all of this money. You're going to get $1 million fully, or $1 million fully forgivable loans to black entrepreneurs. You're going to get education, training, and mentorship programs for black men. We're going to be supporting a regulatory framework for cryptocurrency and other digital assets. That's Trump said that. That's Trump's plan. Trump talks about cryptocurrency. Man, listen, bro. This is all lifted. This is all stolen. Trump made that a part of his economic plan and agenda to speak specifically about cryptocurrency and other digital assets. Why they acting like this is new for black men? This ain't even got nothing to do with black men. Launching a national health equity initiative focused on black men. And check out this last one, y'all. Check out the last one. Check out the last one, yo. Legalizing recreational marijuana and creating opportunities for Black Americans to succeed in this new industry. Jesus Christ. Oh, man. This is crazy. This is absolutely insane. Maybe that is my 3 stages. I'm only at stage 1 right now, though.
Entrepreneurs and new regulations for cryptocurrency and legalizing marijuana nationally. Watch.
Your underlying premise is not an assumption that I'm supposed to have Black men in my back pocket in terms of their vote, and that I should be taking that for granted, because I don't. Black men are no different from anybody else. They expect that you have to earn their vote.
So why is she just doing it now? And today she'll be sitting down with Charlamagne the God in Detroit, a move our next guest says will not hit the mark with Black voters in their city. Lorenzo Sewell is a senior pastor at 180 Church in Detroit. He joins us now. He had the former president there as well, Donald Trump. Sir, thanks so much for joining the program.
Lawrence, I'm so Holy Ghost happy to be here with you this morning.
All right, Pastor, so tell me this. Is this going to work with Black voters? I know that when it comes to Black males, entrepreneurship is big for us. How is she going to overtax us, but then give us loans as well?
I have never been so offended in my life. She's bringing a man here who is Charlamagne, a false god, to a community that has 4,500 churches, all people of faith. We are extremely offended that she's bringing a podcaster here to talk to Black men about politics. She brought a retired athlete to Flint who is failing, Magic Johnson, and she brought Oprah to Oakland County as if she understands the plight and the pain of people that look like me. We will not allow virtue signaling, or we will not allow identity politics. Black men are not political infants. We know exactly what's happening with the Democratic Party. We know that they've exploited us for over 6 decades. And we are saying, just like Moses said to Pharaoh, let my people go.
So, Pastor, tell me, what are you hearing from the folks that you're speaking?
Before he goes on, let me say something. He's 100% correct about the idea of bringing celebrities into Detroit to try to sway us and convince us somehow, some way to vote for her like we starstruck. We don't care. We don't care at all. Charlamagne has no pull in this city. She would have been better off actually going with Angela Yee, because at least Angela Yee got some investments in Detroit. Charlamagne ain't got nothing here. He don't even check for us. What do we care about Charlamagne? But there will be some people that's a part of the boule that want to be known and want to be seen, and they can't wait to be a part of and get some visibility. And yeah, man, I was a part of there and I was in there or whatever. Of course there's going to be some people there. But the overwhelming majority of the people that's going to be voting, it has no bearing and no effect. Most people have already made up their mind, and the ones that haven't, we got to hold on that. We tapping into that. You sitting here and telling me that they going to disrespect us by bringing Magic Johnson, who don't live here, Oprah, who ain't checking for us, nor is she checking for the people in Hawaii, because y'all wasn't messing with her over there either. And then Charlamagne here in Detroit. Get out of here, bro. He's absolutely right about that, bro.
Speaking to, I was in Detroit last week. I heard I had multiple conversations with voters, Black males in the barbershop, and opinions from all over the political spectrum. But what are they telling you they want from a political candidate, a president?
They're saying they want a president that, number one, can help us with election integrity. We understand that in the city of Detroit, election integrity is an issue. The second thing, we want a president that can hold accountable our local and our state government from the resources that are already here. We already have federal funding through agencies like SBA, which President Donald Trump open up that portal in a way that it has never been opened up in the history of the SBA, which, by the way, was started by Republicans. And we want a politician that's real, that wants to come here and listen to us. Vice President Harris, she's not spoken to any pastors. Vice President Harris, she continues to think that she can entertain her way to the black vote. We're offended, and we want her to be willing to actually bring real solutions to the complex problems that we're facing in urban America.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not a fan of the church getting involved in politics at all. And so I have to take this at face value, saying that and prefacing this by saying that as an individual, I agree with them. As a clergyman, I don't. Because I don't believe that church should be involved in telling people what they should and shouldn't do as far as how they vote and courting politicians in the first place. I just don't like it. I've never liked it. I don't stand for it. I think that everybody should make an informed decision based off of what's best for them and their family. And then to inform people and allow for them to make the decision for themselves is actually better. Hold on. But, however, he's absolutely right. We want authenticity. You can't Harlem shake your way into the White House. We don't want any more celebrities trying to tell us what we should and shouldn't do. We don't listen to them. And I believe that Charlamagne has been armed with enough information that if he wasn't friends with Kamala Harris, then this wouldn't even be something that we would be talking about. If Charlamagne wasn't friends with Kamala Harris, he would never be pitching this to us in the first place. The only reason why he's even pitching us is because he's probably a lifetime Democrat, number one. And so he's going to go whatever the party is. And because he has friendships. And again, they're compromised. They don't objectively ask the questions. They're compromised. They're 100% compromised. So, nope, I'm not checking for Charlamagne. I'm not checking for anybody else's opinion. Again, I think that everything that she's saying and everything that Obama's saying was disrespectful. They have never checked for the people in this community before. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because now we got to go to the polls and we got to make our presence felt. As informed voters, we don't want your handouts. We just want you to get out of our way so we can do whatever it is that we're going to do. Let me go ahead and move on to the next thing. Just wanted to get the reactions because she's also supposedly pulling up on Fox News, but we're going to get there in a second. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we'll move over to the next thing. Ivan says, where Mary Jane is legal, those dispensaries aren't making it. The people still getting it in the streets or homegrown. That is 100% true. It's a lot of people failing, and it's a lot of startup costs. One more thing, where Mary Jane is legal, car insurance rates are the highest. Insurance says too many people driving high causing accidents. Cause and effect, folks. That's true too. Eric in the building says, I can feel the spirit coming down. Shout out to my dog, Eric. I appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to hold us down. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. If you haven't already, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, get your tickets to come and see me in person. I will be in Atlanta on November 2nd, Detroit on December 14th. Put discount code Anton. All of that information is in the description, and it's pinned to the top of the chat. All right, let's pivot. So, Kamala Harris is set to go on Fox News to do an interview. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Check it out.
Welcome back to America Decides. Thanks for hanging out with us. Vice President Harris will be an unfamiliar place on Wednesday. She has agreed to a sit-down interview with Fox News. I want to bring in our political panel, Sophia Kai and Graham Slattery. Graham is a national political reporter for Reuters. Sophia is a national politics reporter at Axios. Great to have you here. I want to do for our audience a tutorial because we talk all the time about the economy. That hotbed of socialism in American journalism. The Wall Street Journal did a massive story this weekend comparing the economic data for Trump and Biden. Harris inherits the Biden economic record. We all know that. So first I want to start with some graphics we have prepared. First of all, the condition of the U.S. economy according to our U.S. CBS News poll. Good, Harris, 66%. Trump voters, 87% bad. Okay, let's go to the tail of the economic tape, starting with gross domestic product, which economists will tell you is the best measurement of overall economic health. In the Trump years, you add up all the economic growth, 7.6% growth in GDP. Biden, 11.8%. Let's go to the next one. Inflation. Inflation rose during the Trump administration by 7.8%, by nearly 20% in the Biden administration. Continuing, job creation. Of course, job creation.
And this source is CBS. Just to let you guys know, I like to use different sources in order to substantiate or have a conversation about how people are feeling towards this administration and this upcoming election.
As all these economic statistics influenced by the pandemic, but net, a loss of 2.7 million jobs, adding job growth in Trump administration, but losses during the pandemic.
That's all lies. It's all lies because we all know what happened during the pandemic that then juked the numbers. So if you come in at an administration where the majority of the people are working from home and they're getting STEMI checks, but then at the same time, everybody is hiring from home so that when you then get handed the keys, you basically get to drive the vehicle that was created for you and you could say, oh no, we created 16 minutes. It's all BS. It's all BS. The pandemic is absolutely one of the biggest things that they're using to juke the numbers. But I think that the people are smart enough to see through it. Let's continue.
Pandemic for the Biden administration, 16.2 million jobs. Unemployment rate, basically the same if you look at the two. Again, factoring in for pandemic and other things, 3.5% was the lowest unemployment rate for the Trump administration. Of course, it rose during the pandemic. The lowest unemployment rate for Biden administration, 3.4%. Lastly, household income. This is also influenced by inflation. Household income rose by 8.2% during the Trump years, 1.3% during the Biden administration. Sophie, I want to start with you.
And make sure y'all combine inflation with household income. Inflation went up and it stayed stagnant with household income under Kamala Harris. And inflation stayed down and pretty low, while at the same time household income went up for the Trump administration. Remember that.
When you tease out those economic numbers and you find that Trump still has a net advantage over Harris on the economy generally, what do you think that's about?
Well, first of all, all of those numbers, you wonder how things may be different if all of those numbers and stats that you listed, voters had them when they voted.
Right.
They do not.
Or they answer a poller's question. Right.
And the reality is they don't.
They don't.
And, Biden and Harris, their voters and Trump voters, they almost pick and choose what they want to know. And so for Harris voters, that's Harris and Biden, they created jobs. The stock market is on the rise. And for Trump voters, it's inflation. And on the trail, as I've been talking to some of these Trump voters, they like to look at the price of eggs, the price of gas. And they
can almost ritually repeat to you how much those have gone up in their own neighborhood. I get that all the time when I'm on the road.
Absolutely. And, to the cent.
Right.
They know how much it has gone.
Yes.
And so no matter what any of the other economic indicators say, voters will remember the price at the grocery store. And unfortunately for Harris, that's why you have 90% of Trump voters who say the economy is not in great shape.
And Graham, economics is about how you feel. And stats matter, but how you feel matters more.
Right. And fundamentally, I think there's a second thing going on here, which is that these days we're in such a polarized political environment that your political beliefs are going to inform not only your opinions, but also the set of facts you tend to focus on, right? So if you're a Harris supporter, perhaps you look at those job numbers. If you're a Trump supporter, you're inclined to look at those inflation numbers. And that's just a trend that's been happening in American politics for some time now.
Graham, I mentioned this as we came in. The vice.
I want to see what CNN has to say about this. Let me pivot for a second. And let's see what CNN's perspective of, because they're having a conversation and saying, is it worth the risk for Kamala Harris to wind up going on Fox News and get interviewed and possibly get exposed any worse than she already has? We've seen what happened to her on CNN. We've seen what happened to her on the Philadelphia news station. We've seen what happened to her on 60 Minutes. We've seen what happened to her across the board. The question that I'm asking you guys inside of the chat, and the question that I'm posing to the people, is, do you think that it's worth it, objectively? Do you think that it's worth it for her to go on Fox News? I'm going to give you my honest opinion before they even comment on it because I haven't seen this video yet. I'm going to say, if I was running her campaign, objectively, now I'm not looking on it on which candidate that I think is the best because you already know that I think that Trump is the best candidate. That's why I voted for him. But the question that we're asking ourselves is it worth it for her to go on Fox News? I say no. The reason that I say no is because nothing good can come from it. Is no way in the world that she's going to somehow, some way become a much better interviewer, and she's going to come up with a way in which she can communicate more effectively on Fox, not standing in front of a teleprompter, and give us some better insight as to why those people should vote for. It's just going to make her look worse. It's going to make her look 10 times. Objectively, I want her to go on Fox News. It's supposed to happen tomorrow, I think Wednesday night, right? I want her to go on Fox News because it actually plays into Trump's favor and it shows how incompetent she really will be. I think that that's what is going to happen. I think it's going to be absolutely a train wreck for her because they have time to prep for it and she don't know what she can't know what the questions are. The only thing that I think that she can do is something that she's strategically done. Eric D, you don't even know what I'm talking about. You're not even listening to what I'm saying. You're not even listening to what I'm saying. I'm talking about strategy. I'm not talking about who I think should be president of the United States of America. I'm saying that if I was to run her campaign, there's no way that I would put her in front of Fox because there's no net benefit from it for her. There's no, all it is going to be more fodder for us to review and laugh at to see how crazy she is as soon as she starts to talk about small businesses and an opportunity economy. There's no net benefit. I want her to go because it's going to be more content, it's going to be more laughing, and it's going to be more of an example as to why she looks foolish. But there's two things that she's trying to accomplish here, in my opinion. The first thing that I think that she's trying to accomplish is she's trying to prove that she's not scared to go on Fox. The second thing is, I don't think that the interview will be any longer than, it's going to be less than 30 minutes, 100%. No interview that she's done, zero, zilch, nada. Go and check the tape. If I'm wrong, I'll come back and I'll say I'm wrong. Maybe it's an interview that I'm not familiar with. Not one interview that she's ever done. Well, she hasn't really done any interviews. She hasn't really done any interviews at the Ops anyway, so let me take that back. I was about to say no interview she's ever done at the Ops. She's never pulled up to the Ops. But she likes to keep her interviews very short. You have a limited amount of time, even on 60 Minutes, you have a limited amount of time to hurry up and get all of your questions out. So where I think that a lot of these newscasts fail is that they try to get so many different subjects in within a half hour, within 20 minutes, within 15-minute interviews, within 25-minute interviews. The thing that her campaign is doing strategically is allowing for, when she go on these news stations, to only have a certain amount of time. And they saying, well, she don't have a lot of time. She got to go and take care of business. She got to do some other interviews. She got to go to a campaign rally. And that prevents us from really being able to dig into and ask more questions. So if I'm limited on that amount of time, A, I probably wouldn't do the interview. But B, if I did do the interview, then I would pick one subject that I think that she was incredibly weak on, and I would want to know exactly how she plans to fix it. For me, I think that the worst thing that's happened to the Democrats is the migrant crisis. And so I would hammer home every single point on immigration, and I would not let up. Every single conversation, every question will be a follow-up question with regard to immigration. So, we'll see what happens, but let me see what CNN's play is and what they think is going to happen.
I think it makes sense because she needs to speak to working class swing voters, independents, Republicans who are still on the fence. I don't know if you heard from her director to 270, David Plouffe, this morning. He thinks they're still gettable. And if those are the persuadable voters, you got to get them where they are. And they're watching Fox News. The people, really MAGA type Republicans, they think Fox is too liberal. I mean, they really do. I know this because I know a few of
and
them.
you know what?
So
I think-
Fox is really a place for Nikki Haley land voters.
It's actually, I mean, I think there's a misconception about who watches Fox, right? And it's really a lot of different types of people that she might need to talk to.
Some Democrats
she might need
like
to talk
it.
to.
I like Fox.
I was actually surprised that she's never done a Fox interview.
You know what was amazing to me about this is, she turned down the Fox News debate. They offered a debate, and she didn't want to do it. And now, with 3 weeks to go, we're scrambling over to Fox News because this campaign is in a full-blown panic. I do want to say a word about Bret Baier. Everybody seems to be crapping on him today. Bret Baier's one of the best journalists out there. He's going to ask her good questions. And if the 60 Minutes interview or The View or anything else she's done lately was hard for her, Bret Baier's going to put her through her paces. And so this is a dangerous thing because he's a real journalist who's going to ask real questions.
I don't know. Have people been attacking Brett? I feel like people have been generally praising him.
The algorithms work in mysterious ways.
One of the better Trump interviews he conducted.
No,
so there's that.
I think it's really smart. I agree that there could be voters to be had there. And just want to say to Scott that the Kamala Harris campaign is in no way in full-blown panic. She's doing exactly what everyone was saying she needs to do. She is now everywhere, what is it called? Everything, everywhere, all at once. That's what she's doing because that's what she can be doing, right? She is expanding the map in a way that I don't think people were expecting her to do. Right now, let's just look at her coalition. Her coalition is from Bernie Sanders and AOC to Dick Cheney.
Are you saying she put new
that
states
is
on?
the kind of spectrum that you expect from a campaign that is speaking to all American voters. And her message.
Hold on. The vice president. Hold on.
This is so obvious, and she's so obviously wrong. The more that she continues to show herself, the worse off the poll numbers get from her. And NBC and CNN confirmed that just yesterday. Let me say that again. The more she shows herself, the more she interviews, and the more Americans get to see who she is, the worse her campaign is. The more her poll numbers are continuously getting worse. Even the networks that's in her favor is saying, listen, this is getting worse and worse and worse. And the people are starting to say, we don't really rock with you, especially in the swing states. So if that be the case, how is this working out for her? And how is her strategy everywhere, all the time, in front of the people saying the same thing, but not adding any more substance as she did at the campaign rallies? How is this benefiting her? If every time that she pops out every day, she gets weaker in the polls, which I don't trust polls anyway, but it is something. And the people that support her the most are saying, I don't know about that one. How is it actually benefiting her? Which I want her to continue to do it. The more that we realize that she was just a chameleon, the more that she continued to backtrack, the more that she says, I said no fracking, no fracking, the more that she continued to steal Trump's policies, the more she exposes herself as a person that is not fit to be president of the United States of America.
You said she's expanding the map?
North Carolina, Georgia, those states were not.
That's been on the map all year.
No.
Come on, guys.
North Carolina. No, my friend. Come on.
Hold on.
Lord have
All right, Chair Michael, go ahead.
If the vice president, and we talked about this in the previous segment, if the campaign was doing so well, if she was so ahead in the polls, she would not be going on Fox News. She would not sit down with Bret Baier. I'm almost certain if I were a Democratic strategist, I would be very concerned about potentially putting my candidate on Fox News where she's asked a question where she doesn't appear to be well, or she doesn't answer well, I should say.
Why they all start over talking him as soon as he started making some sense? Because he actually said something similar to what I was saying.
That is one way of looking at it. But I mean, I think you could also look at it strategically as this probably should have happened earlier, whether she was up or not. I mean, when you look at someone like Pete Buttigieg, he's always on Fox.
Oh, he's great. Listen,
he's on Fox.
Guys,
but he's good at it.
I feel like if we took names off of people's itinerary, you would look at her itinerary and be like, she's a winner and your guy's a loser. Point blank.
Why?
What?
Because of the places she goes from the shade room to Fox. That's range, okay? Your guy doesn't do that. Your guy goes to safe spaces.
We would like to see.
How does he go to safe spaces? And they've been pulling up on CNN and ABC and MSNBC And J.D. Vance and Trump has been pulling up and been taking questions the entire campaign. They've been taking unscripted questions the entire. He just came off a flagrant. He just got done doing an interview with Andrew Scholes. I'm not even going to tell y'all what's going on soon. I can't talk. I can't talk like that. You know what I'm saying? But how in any way is Trump not showing way more range? I mean, the dude did a whole live stream with Aiden Ross. He did a live stream with Aiden Ross. And Kai Cenat actually rejected Kamala Harris and being able to do a live stream with her. These women are so delusional.
Donald Trump. Scott, we would like to see Donald Trump here on
He did Katie Challenge, did he not, in this cycle? Did he not do a
He wasn't even the nominee. That wasn't even, yeah, that was years ago.
Anyways, just letting you guys know that she is planning on doing an interview with Fox News. Of course, Anton is going to be covering it right after we get done watching Anton on Dr. Phil Primetime. Dr. Phil, or the producers over at Dr. Phil, just text me. Can't wait to come back. They just literally text me. I don't want to show you the phone number. It says, "Hi, Anton. I hope you're doing well. Just wanted to remind you that your Dr. Phil episode airs tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central." Okay, 7 p.m. Central is 8 p.m. Eastern. 7 p.m. Central is 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay, so 7 p.m. Central. All right, y'all got that. You can watch via the streaming on the Merit app because it will air live on there also. Buckle up. It says buckle up, and then I literally just text them back. Yeah, it's going to be some fireworks, I can tell y'all that. It might be some people that may not like me after that episode. Not in our community, but it might be some people that's out in the open that may not like some of the things that I have to say. But they don't have to deal with it because that's who I always been. It is what it is. It is what it is, okay? Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're going to go from there. Dr. Phil Primetime, baby. Ralph says, shout out to Ralph for super chat. I appreciate you. Information security. Thank you, my friend. Chip Burner says, Kamala plan will help black men start food trucks and weed dispensers. We so ghetto. Charlene. Hey, Charlene. Didn't Anthony Hamilton make a song about you? Hey, Anton, I just joined the Chasers, and I'm super excited. I watch you every day. You are my mainstream media. I cannot wait to get through these informative videos so I can get to the bag. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you, Charlene, for rocking out with us. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Greg Charlie says, hey, Anton. Oh, I'm sorry. Greg Charlie says, Kamala on Fox. Never thought I would see the day. I'm actually shocked and impressed she agreed to do this. Shout out to you, Greg. I appreciate you. Ivan Jago says, don't be fooled. Trump was under COVID. Biden, Harris, no pandemic. They're 0.01 less than Trump. Governor will tell you rates versus media put the spin on it. Shout out to you. Tyrone says, she's only going on Fox after she has the FBI and the Department of Justice send them pictures of their homes. I'm just kidding, not really. Rico Champion says, yo, we need that Anton Candace Owens combo ASAP. High Tolerance says, shout out to our resident lollipop head, Eric D. Y'all be going at Eric D in the chat. Sheba Dog, shout out to my girl TJ Brown. I appreciate you, TJ. Adonis says, hey, AD, what if they press her in her campaign, then use that interview to twist and show how mean and racist they are on the Fox side? Ain't nothing left to do but to do it. We're going to watch it, and then we're going to review it the next day. AD, please watch Tucker Carlson interview with Harmeet Dylan. Very insightful. Okay, y'all got to send it to me. You know I don't be knowing. Freight Trapping Podcast says they keep trying to sell us on Trump is dangerous, just like they used to vilify Islam, but then voted a president named Barack Obama. I'm just saying. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Let's get over to the next thing. Bill Clinton. I did not have sex with that woman. I did not have sex with that woman. Bill Clinton is on the campaign trail. Hold on. I know we got to pull that up. Have anybody talked about Bill Clinton recently? Have anybody reviewed that? Some of this is above y'all or is before y'all time. Bill Clinton is on the campaign trail for Kamala Harris. All right. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. I got to be able to find it. It's got to be right there. This is Bill. This is my last in memory of Bill, aside from destroying the manufacturing base from selling us out to other countries, including China. This is my thoughts about Bill.
Now we don't do that anymore. So while this was worthy of the nation's highest office, Ronald Reagan's speech, 12 years later, on this day in 1998, a scandal of sex and lies.
1998. The first black president, they said. 1998. I was 16. I was 16 years old. 16 years old, trying to move and shake. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make it shake, make something shake in high school. Trying to get somebody to skip school with me. Hey, what y'all got going on today? Oh, yeah? Word? What? Your parents ain't home today? That's crazy. Dog. Hey, man. Her parents ain't home today. Yeah, we can make something shake. After third hour, I bet. We could be back by seventh hour, though. We was trying to make something shake in 1998, baby. Yes, we was. Yes, we can. And while we was trying to make something shake, this is what your president was doing.
Marked a low point for the White House.
It was the day President Bill Clinton said words that would follow him and his wife for years to come. Scott Pelley reports.
Let's see if we can get
Tonight, Monica Lewinsky's attorneys tell us that she has told prosecutors all she knows. They describe what they call a complete account of her relationship with President Clinton. But that account
He was the first person that empowered women to start the Me Too movement.
Was given over the telephone today and was not written down. Prosecutors are still trying to decide whether they will offer immunity. This new threat came
Bill Clinton was the first person since in your lifetime that they was trying to give immunity to because he was grabbing them by the pee and sitting women up under his desk. Monica Lewinsky, he put a 5 under his desk. Only president in history that put a 5 under his desk. Ain't that crazy? He was typing on the computer, had a 5 up under his desk. No, neither here nor there. This is the person that's on the campaign trail for Kamala right now.
On the same day that the president finally rallied to his own defense. The president had been silent 3 days. His lawyers wanted it that way. But the political damage was rising much too fast. Today, drawn and bleary-eyed, Mr. Clinton joined the battle to save his presidency.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never told anybody to lie, not a single time, never. These allegations are false, and I need to go back to work for the American people. Thank you.
And they applauded. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. I did not tell anybody to lie. And I need to go back to work for the American people. Thank you. Listen to me clearly. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. I did not tell anybody to lie. I don't know what they're talking about, Miss Lewinsky. And I need to go back to working and tearing up and creating the North American Free Trade Agreement so we can get manufacturing jobs out of this country and how we can make sure that we absolutely set the precedent for destroying the housing market that eventually you gonna pay for in 2008. Thank you very much. That man said with a straight face, with tears in his eyes. With tears in his eyes, he said, I did not have sexual relations with that woman. And then we all had to pay for it by having Secretary Clinton, her laptop and her emails. And we almost got her as president. Think about that. All because the whole country almost had to pay for the infidelity of Bill Clinton from Arkansas. The whole country had to pay for this. You know how? Because now she had leverage on him. So now he had to promise her, I'm going to try to get you. I'm going to do everything I can to try to get you. Now, you got a black man on the rise over there in Obama. But I'm going to do everything I can to get you in the secretary. And then we're going to try to get you into the White House. And you're going to say that you're going to crack that glass ceiling. And you got a lot of cracks in that glass ceiling. And I'm still going to support you, Hillary. I was getting a little bit ahead, but I'm going to support you. All because he was getting ahead in the White House. We almost had to pay for this as United States of American citizens. Ain't that crazy? How one man getting ahead almost tanked an entire country in order to pay for the sins of getting some dome from a 5. That's crazy. That's crazy. That is absolutely, positively crazy. Well, they thought that we forgot about it, but I didn't. And so now he walking around looking like a corpse, looking like one of the characters in Beetlejuice, and he's campaigning for Kamala Harris. Let's hear what he got to say. Here's the key, though, about this. I heard he mentioned Laken Riley's name. That's crazy, ain't it? Check it out.
For president, my granddad called me, told me that story, and he said, if Governor Clinton is half the man his grandfather was, he'll be a great president. Now, we believe, and he went on, thank you, that's not what I told you. I told you this story to make the point that when we listen to each other, when we see each other, when we work together, when we try to help each other, there is really nothing we can't do.
He's shaking. He got the shakes. He got the shakes. Now, it's kind of hard to believe that him and Trump be the same age. They're around the same age. He got the shakes. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. He shouldn't be on the campaign trail. He should be somewhere playing, he should be somewhere looking at dirty magazines with Biden. Honest, on the real, Clinton. You had your time, big dog. You had your time. Sit down somewhere, go and get you a blanket. You tried to give us Hillary Clinton. Yo, Bill. Hey, Bill. Go ahead and take a seat, big dog. You and Biden. Meet Joe Black. Meet Joe Black just had a conversation with Bill Clinton. Hey, Bill. Come on, Bill. Come on, Bill. Put it up. Put it up, big dog. No more campaign trailing. You've done your time. We're not going to hold you accountable for getting a little bit ahead. We still holding you accountable for what happened with the North American Free Trade Agreement. But put that up, big dog. Put it up, Bill. This ain't your time, bro.
When this man's grandfather was in my grandfather's store, I was 3 or 4 years old hanging around trying to get my hand in the box of Jackson's cookies. And you never know what's going to happen if you help each other, if you see everybody, if you try to build people. That's what Kamala Harris will try to do. I'm telling you, I know her. I have watched her. And I believe she'll be a great president. And I believe Governor Walz, because of how he grew up in Nebraska, because of where he served in the rural district in Congress in Minnesota, and because he's been a truly consequential governor of Minnesota. You know, everybody likes to say, well, and he does. He reminds me of two coaches who taught me biology and science because
in the 50s, in the 40s, when they teach you biology and science, in the 40s and the 50s, when they didn't even have flasks. Go on, get your blankie, big dog. Get on out of the spotlight. This ain't your time.
They ran out of coach.
Hey, who listening to Bill Clinton to try to get to and letting Bill Clinton sway them? How many people see Bill walk up to them today like this and say, have you voted for Kamala Harris today? Who in their right mind is sitting here saying, man, I want to see Bill Clinton tell me who to vote for. I'm waiting for Bill to give me his endorsement. Go ahead, man. Just take your time. Help him on up the steps, him and Biden. Put on some cartoons for him, some Ren and Stimpy. We got Netflix, Bill. Go ahead, take your time, big dog.
And they had to teach more to get their retirement in. And it was like I can close my eyes and imagine him every time he speaks being these guys, because they were both real smart and they taught me things I remember to this day. But the main thing about them is they think we is more important than I. They think politics is about you. And I'll give you some examples. Mm-hmm. The Project 2025 that...
This guy is so out of his mind, he has no clue whatsoever. The last person that should be talking about not being selfish is you, Bill. As we just seen, you almost gave us Hillary Clinton as president of the United States of America because you couldn't keep it in your pants. If that's not the very definition of selfish, I don't know what is. We have no other candidates that was better than her on the Democratic side. But y'all used the power of the machine to get her in there. Obama couldn't even get her in. That's how bad she was. You or Obama couldn't get her in.
Was spoken about earlier that the Republican project to gain total control of the federal government from the courts to the regulatory agency. The thing that got me the worst was when J.D. Vance stood up there. He supported 60 attempts to repeal it. Now, Trump killed the bill.
Oh, let me back that up. There we are.
As have more affordable housing, make it easier for people to make their first down payment.
They gave him some talking points on a piece of paper.
Make more loans through the Small Business Administration and keep this thing going. And on the immigration thing, she's the only candidate who has actually endorsed a bill that would hold down immigration in any given year to a certain point, and then make sure we gave people a decent place to live. We didn't divide people from their children. And we did total vetting before people got in. Now, Trump killed the bill. The bill was being written by senior Republicans in the Senate.
Do y'all see how delusional that this man is? I'm going to let him keep talking, and then I'm going to tell y'all what my thoughts are. Listen, he's talking about immigration on the thing that Democrats are the weakest on. Bill Clinton, they sent Bill Clinton out there. Look, the only person that could really speak on and have a conversation about immigration that did it right objectively was Obama. That's it. Is Obama. Obama should have stayed away from trying to hold black men accountable and instead should have started having conversations about immigration. Listen, the Democrats messed this campaign up so bad. They fumbled this campaign so bad. When you look back on it, the things that they should have empowered people to do was based off of their strong suit. They should have learned from 2016 when Obama couldn't push Hillary Clinton through and said, okay, who's strong enough to be able to have a conversation and debate on this subject instead of sticking to talking points? We're not going to continue to push her talking points because social media is already laughing at the fact that she say everything on every interview. What we're going to do is we're going to take people that were successful in this area of their presidency, and we're going to have you go out and try to debunk and sway the people to think differently about this because you were good at it. So Obama, because he was great on immigration, should have been the one on the campaign trail saying, hey, listen, guys, this is the truth about immigration. This is how we did it more successfully. This is why they are going to do it this, whatever, put whatever spin on it. We all know that they mess up on immigration when it comes to Kamala Harris, but they should have took the people that was a part of a certain thing that they did right that the people can endear them to, that also tied into the Republicans of what Republicans want in order to sway independents to see it a little bit differently. And so instead of him trying to talk down on us and have a conversation with us about misogyny, when he was the one that gave us the alphabet community as a legacy of his administration, he should have been talking about, Obama in particular, should have been talking about immigration. But now you got shaky hand Bill up here talking about immigration, and we're going to see it up. We're going to see it through.
And he killed the bill. Why? You had a case in Georgia not very long ago, didn't you? They made an ad about a young woman who'd been killed by an immigrant. Yeah, well, if they'd all been properly vetted, that probably wouldn't have happened. But if they're all properly vetted, and that doesn't happen, and America is not having enough babies to keep our populations up. So we need immigrants that have been vetted to do work. There wouldn't be a problem.
Do you realize that he's literally playing into the hands of Trump voters? That he's talking to Democrats about Laken Riley, who Kamala Harris and Biden refused to say her name or even acknowledge her publicly, that was killed by an illegal migrant that wasn't supposed to be into this country in the first place. Under Biden's administration, when they opened up the borders, and he's basically trying to have a conversation with the people about something that Trump and the Trump administration has been talking about for the longest. Is something wrong with these guys? Barack Obama fumbled. Bill Clinton being a basehead because he's too old to even know what's really going on. And they're working for Republicans. So I either think that one or two things is happening. Either they really don't like Kamala Harris and they're trying to destroy her, or they're just clueless. And the Democrats are running this campaign like a shotgun wedding. What is wrong with this guy having a conversation? Come on, Eric D., even you got to admit that this is the dumbest thing ever. Why would they bring up, they gave him some talking points, stick to the talking points. Why would they sit here and have a conversation about immigration and Laken Riley when she was literally killed by a migrant that wasn't supposed to be here under the Biden administration? Even Kamala Harris and Biden won't even mention her name. And Bill is on tape talking to Democrats about the very thing that Republicans are saying, yes. The weakest thing that Democrats are on, the thing that the Democrats are weakest on, Bill is continuing to do it. Eric D., even you got to admit that that's a fumble. That's a fumble. That is another fumble by a legacy president.
And he couldn't keep people all torn up and upset. Kamala Harris says, I don't want you to get upset. If you don't like me, you can vote against me next time. If you do like me, you can vote for me next time. Meanwhile, what do you say we solve some problems? What do you say we get something done? What do you say we get rid of all this resentment?
So wait a minute. You want us to give you a promotion over something that you failed at. And you talking about solving a problem that you couldn't solve over the last 3.5 years, but you need a promotion to do so? She was a tie-breaking vote of the Senate more than any president in history, and you couldn't. Honestly, I don't think that they like her. I don't think that they like Kamala Harris. You are right, Molly. How you going to solve for a problem that you created? Borders were secure under Obama. Giving them credit. Borders were secure under Trump. Even though y'all didn't want to allocate him any monies to continue to secure the border, and y'all fought him at every twist and turn. Borders blew open under Biden and Harris. And we supposed to give him a promotion for that? And this dude just sat there and talked about Laken Riley. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. What is wrong with these people? Go ahead and get your blankie, Bill. Get your blankie. Let me read a couple of super chats. Before I read some super chats, I got some questions for y'all, because you know me. Listen. I gotta run this by my people before I decide that. Oh, what am I doing? I got to run this by my people before I decide to do it. So apparently, Mark Lamont Hill. What do y'all know about Mark Lamont Hill? I know that he's pretty liberal. I heard that he's about to join the Joe Budden podcast. What y'all know about Mark Lamont Hill? His people are saying that they want me to come on Mark Lamont Hill's show. What y'all think about that? Should I go? Should I go on Mark Lamont Hill? The chat is my co-host, and so what the bag chasers say, thus shall I do. Whatever the bag chasers say, thus shall I do. You guys think I should go on Mark Lamont Hill's show? Should the Kang? I said no. Some people saying no, some people saying yes. I ain't never seen him on the Joe Budden podcast. A lot of people saying yes, some people saying no. No. We could do a debate. I ain't tripping off of that. He's a far less left liberal, is he? I'm going to do a poll. They saying do a poll. Let me do a poll. Why wouldn't y'all want me to go? I'm curious. Time Dog is curious. I'm curious. That's my song right there. I'm going to do a poll, and then I'm going to read the super chats, and then I want y'all to let me know what y'all think, all right? Because, I believe in the chat, and the chat is my dogs. Poll. All right, so the poll is in the chat now. Y'all can vote. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we'll go from there. Jasmine says, I heard Fox interview is questions from women only. I haven't heard anything a lot. We'll see. We're going to check it out. Vibe says, hey, Anton, did you see Saturday Night Live skit about Kamala? It's hilarious. Yeah, I did see that. I seen it. It was hilarious. They largely stayed away from Kamala like that. Clinton sold our steel and manufacturing technology to China. He did. Enacted the most aggressive crime bill, invested in the most in the prisons. He did. Dems created poverty. They did. Forsaken Archive says, at least Monica had proof with that blue dress. She kept that blue dress. Smooth Artist says Bill couldn't survive the hot tour. Sad. Winnie says it'll work in her favor if she has someone in her ear telling her what to say or how to answer. I've watched her many times before. After the debate, she was completely different debater, interviewee with an earpiece. Okay, all right. Bill's still an old, shaky, dusty freak in 2024. David Simpson Jr. says if Bill isn't careful, he's going to be the next Jimmy Carter mailing ballots from his deathbed. Katie Walker says, AD, blacks say they want generational wealth, yet blame Trump for his inheritance. What is your view on raising kids in a privileged environment? My daughter is being raised in a privileged environment, and I definitely plan on passing on everything that I've done to her. Bill's been dipping in cookie jars all his life. David Simpson Jr. says, as Trump told his kids, no drugs, no alcohol. Love Dayton, Los Angeles says they need to take Clinton out to the pasture. Out pasture. This speech is like a workout for Billiam. He all out of breath. Let me see something real quick. Let's see. Shout out to Mr. Guap. I appreciate you. Nothing says women's rights like having a bill there. I agree. Brock says he better not say too many S or T words in front. It's going to take a flight like Dave Dash's Grill. Cynthia Haynes says, please shut up. Vote for mayor candidate Anton Daniels for the city of Detroit, Michigan. I don't know if I would ever run. I don't know if I could do the politics things. Adonis says he just exposed why they letting the immigrants in while supporting mass abortion for our citizens. Make that make sense. Jasmine Swan says bills are not single issues. They are bundled with multiple pieces of legislation, all or none. They hide nonsense in them. They should break them up. All to them, Jazz. Bag for Bag says, Bill told the whole play, we made it unaffordable for you to have kids, so we got you some immigrants. Oh, okay, all right. Love and Dayton, Los Angeles says, did you catch Bill said we're not having enough babies, but Kamala is pro-abortion? Shaking my head. Adonis says he did an interview with Candace Owens. Oh, you talking about Mark Lamont? Tresidential says Dems are setting up 2028. No Trump, no DEI. VP Cam is done. I am Annie Marie. What is the benefit of a Hill debate? I was thinking the same thing. I don't understand that either. Love and Dayton, Los Angeles says with that, they don't want black babies because he said vetted immigrants can have the babies. Viewpoint says, love your channel, love the way you say it like it is, and your laugh is addictive. Dark Side goes on to say, frankly, she has no choice. She's losing. And Darius Davenport says, Bill Diddy. Y'all so mean. Let me see what y'all saying. Let me see what y'all saying out here in these streets. Okay, so that's what the poll says. Only 516 votes. There's thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people in here, and we only got 516 votes. I don't see the benefit in it, honestly. Plus, on the day that they asking me, I got a really big thing that I got to focus on. So, I don't know. Said he doesn't know what a woman is? We'll see. Anyways, let's continue on with the show. Last but not least, let's talk about tax cuts, tariffs, and the alleged $2 trillion that is going to cost us in a migrant crisis. Let's get into that. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's rock.
You even introduced this 15% corporate tax rate for companies who produce in America and hire American workers. But how will you pay for it? The Committee for a Responsible Budget says your plans will increase the debt by $7.5 trillion.
But they don't know.
The Wall Street Journal said that your plans will increase the debt and deficits more than Kamala Harris's.
If I do this, you're going to have car companies coming back to the country because of the taxes and the tariffs. The tariffs will protect them when they come in. Tariffs are a very beautiful word. It's a word that's going to make our country rich again.
But what about the criticism, and the Journal has done this as well, that if you do put something like a 200% tariff on a product, that it's only going to mean higher prices for consumers?
It's not. No, it doesn't mean that.
It's got to be passed on somehow.
No, Ray. All I'm doing is saying, I'll put 200 or 500. I don't care. I'll put a number where they can't sell one car into the United. I don't want them to sell the car because I don't want them hurting our car companies.
I don't understand why that's so difficult for people to understand and capture. I don't understand why that's so difficult for people to understand and take into consideration. Why is that so hard for people? Trump is saying, listen, if they never sell a car on American soil, I'm cool with that. And I absolutely 100% agree with it. Again, I am 100% in agreement with it. If it's going to cost American jobs or American taxpayers, why would I entertain it and why would it be a thing? Why are people fighting to have foreign entities come into the United States of America to sell them something that they don't need already? We have enough foreign automakers that's already here, and most of the time they're here because they already are feeding into the manufacturing base. The American automakers are already paying egregious wages, but you would let somebody manufacture something cheaper overseas and then ship it here and take the profits outside of the United States of America. Why does that make sense? Why would you advocate for that? And again, I like the fact that Trump is willing to tell it like it is and say exactly what he mean and mean what he said. He said, listen, yes, I'm going to put a tariff on them. And if I got to put a 200% tariff on them, I'm cool with that because if it was up to me, they wouldn't even be looking to sell cars inside of the United States of America in the first place. We only want American automakers. Why is that so difficult for people to grasp? I'm 100% in agreement with that.
To the United, I don't want them to sell the car because I don't want them hurting our car companies.
And how are you going to pay for all of this no tax on stuff? And you said that there's a lot of fat in government that you're going to save money.
I gave you an answer, growth.
Growth, that's the key word. That was former President Trump with me Sunday on Sunday Morning Futures discussing his tax and tariff policy plans ahead of the November election, now 3 weeks away. Last week, Trump unveiled 2 new tax proposals to allow interest on car loans to be deductible and to end the double taxation of Americans living abroad. Vice President Kamala Harris also rolled out a number of tax proposals, including expanding the child tax credit, providing tax credits for first-time homebuyers. Let's get into it and look at the differences here. Joining me now is Americans for Tax Reform President Grover Norquist. Grover, thanks very much for being here. Walk us through the key differences between Trump and Harris's tax policy proposals, please.
Well, Trump's policies are to continue present policy, which you do not need to pay for. Senator Crapo, finance leader in the Senate, has said, we never pay for present policy continuing. We didn't when we extended the Bush tax cuts. So this is a left-wing argument that we have to pay for lower taxes that are already in existence. One of the great things that the president's done is said, let's go to 15% on the cut in the corporate rate. We've seen how powerful that was in giving us growth. To go down to 21, to go to 15 makes us much more competitive with China and Europe and the rest of the world. What the tax cuts that Kamala Harris talks about, many of those are simply writing checks to people from the IRS. Those are refundable tax credits to people who don't pay taxes. She's trying to count as tax cuts a lot of spending.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, in terms of Trump's thinking that taking taxes down to these levels will actually trigger growth, do you buy into that? Do you believe that will lead to growth? Because he said the last time he was in office, the tax cuts actually brought in so much more revenue that the swath of people paying taxes and the actual tax cuts led to growth. Do you think that will happen?
Well, you saw that in the 1920s with the Republican tax cuts then. And then you saw it in the 1960s with John F. Kennedy's tax rate reductions. When you reduce marginal tax rates, you get significant growth. And over time, it was very quick in the case of Trump. You actually bring in more money. The corporate taxes today at a lower rate are bringing in more money than before he cut those taxes.
And we will be booming even more. We will be booming even more than we was in 2017, 18, 19. We would be booming. There will be money everywhere. We're going to be paying tuition in the strip club. We're going to be making it rain. We're going to be getting to the bag. We're going oh my God. We're going to bring Dodge and Chrysler back so that I don't have my last call and I'm not the last person to get a Hellcat, the jailbreak. Yes, we are. Yes, we can. Yes, we will. We're going to be making it rain when Trump won the presidency. Well, for the first couple of years, he got to fix what Biden and Harris did. The burden of what is that can't be undone, or whatever her speech is. The burden of what is undone and can't be done, and redid it and undone it. So, but we're going to be making it rain, baby.
Taxes. That gave you growth and more resources.
The last 2 years, we're going to make it rain after he fixed the first 2 years.
So a new study from the Tholos Foundation finds illegal immigration could cost taxpayers at least $2 trillion over a decade in Medicare spending. This is under Harris's amnesty.
And that's just in Medicare spending? That's insane. $2 trillion over the next decade in Medicare spending? I mean, Medicare is unsolvent.
And Medicare for All system. Harris has recently claimed that she doesn't support Medicare for All anymore. But she was the first senator to co-sponsor Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders' Medicare for All bill. She wrote her own Medicare for All plan during the 2020 presidential run, Grover. What about that? And is this a strain that is going to be on American citizens because of her amnesty plan and what it does for the Medicare system?
It puts two things together. It reminds everybody that when she was in charge of the border, you had millions of people come over who she now wants to give health care guarantees to, Medicare for All. The plan she endorsed, the plan she was the first co-sponsor of, is more radical than anything that they've ever done in Canada. It would ban your health savings account. That would be gone. It would ban your present.
Oh, no, not an HSA. You know how we leverage the HSA to get to the bag? No, Freaky Jason. No, Freaky Jason. We can't ban the HSA. Of all of the things that y'all want to get rid of, y'all want to get rid of the HSA? Nope. No, Freaky Jason. No.
Insurance, your present health insurance, your present relationship with the doctor, all gone. Just government-run health care. One big post office. Not even no emails, no FedEx. Just one big government monopoly. And she has been for that for as long as she's been in the Senate. She has been a supporter of that. To argue that
Canada
for political
taxes
purposes
so
she's not
crazy.
going to say it out loud anymore.
I would have left
changes
Canada
nothing.
a long time ago.
Now, you've signed on to this letter with other groups, conservative nonprofit and advocacy group leaders. You've outlined the threat to free speech under a potential Harris-Walz administration. This letter points to Harris's crusade as California Attorney General to force conservative nonprofit groups to produce donor lists for the government. Grover, why do they want donor lists? You say Harris has a long record of squashing free speech. Is that what you're talking about, that unleashing the donor lists, showing Kamala who's donating to the other side, will get Kamala and her team to squash free speech and bully those groups?
We have seen the Democratic mayor of Chicago say he's going to go after Chick-fil-A because he doesn't like their politics with government power. We've seen in California people say that the government should not do business with Elon Musk because they don't like his politics. You don't think they can pick on individuals? You don't think labor unions can sit on their members who may contribute to a group they don't approve of? This will chill the ability of people to contribute first to their political interests, but also to what church they go to.
Wow, that is incredible, Grover. Thanks very much for walking us through it. All right, we'll keep following all of that. Grover Norquist, good to see you.
I think that I just don't like Democrats' economic policy at all. I don't like the idea that they tax you more. I don't like moving into a Canadian-based system. I don't like any of that. I don't like free health care for all, because then everybody benefits that don't even pay into the system. And the people that don't pay into the system, they just suffer the most. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let me read a few more super chats, and then I'm going to get y'all up out of here for the day. So, Chedessidential says, MLH is a typical old, outdated black liberal you ranted about earlier. You look so young, though. Tay says, have you heard anything else about port workers? I heard that they can't come to a conclusion on automation, and so they still targeting January 15th as a strike date. David Simpson says the chicken tax proves tariffs work. Ask GM. And Adonis says, if no one understands how tax cuts help the economy, they're uneducated about the fact that we have been overtaxed for decades. Well, that's our new norm, and people are just they okay with it. Anyways, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all tune in to After Hours tonight. We gonna get it in. And do we got anything else going on tonight? Oh, yeah, I'll be on Fox News tonight. So tune in to Fox News and then watch me on After Hours tonight. We gonna get it in. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are the greatest audience on earth. I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Peace.